It doesn't seem worth it. Yeah.
Like it's fun, but it's fun while it's fun. But I think, like, I don't know. I don't think I'd be wanting to. I don't think I'm willing to do what it takes to become a ginormous streamer. I'm not willing to endure the social ramifications, if that makes sense.
And the sleepless nights.
Yeah, and like dealing with like people that I know getting harassed and shit. Like I don't know.
There is, I think you start. My idea is that it's not a fully fleshed out opinion. But it's like you can go very far with yourself as the commodity, but in the end, it's always more optimal to have other people work for you.
Well, yeah, kind of, but I mean, if we were willing to go down that route, it is very profitable and very like lucrative and everything.
But there's probably an even more profitable way to do it, where like you're not the face anymore, and there's like there's 10 faces.
I don't know. You say that, but then Ludwig posted a video where he rated other content creators' products, and he did more views on that one video than we did on the entirety of last season.
yeah, sure.
So it's kind of like,
yeah.
Or any of like Asmon's election videos.
Asmongold is turning heel. It's like he's mad. Like he's big mad that he got banned.
Yeah, he's going off the deep end.
Yeah, have you seen how Asmon went for the deep end?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's been done well for his viewership though. He popped the fuck off recently.
Oh yeah, even more.
Even bigger. Yeah, even more than usually. I mean, he's averaging like 50k viewers on Twitch last week or something like that. Something crazy like that. Maybe more.
And you know what's it's really funny how, like, he has ads turned off on Twitch.
Yeah.
And he really doesn't care if he gets like he doesn't want to get back. He wants to stay on Twitch to stay relevant, and he just wants to tear down the business.
He talked recently. He said he's like, if he turned ads on Twitch, it'd be a few $100,000 a month.
Yeah. So that, not like a week. He would be doing like 400,000 a week.
I think he vastly underestimated how much he could make.
What's up, David? I don't have a guide yet. No, today. But I have the feeling that Asmongold wants to tear down Twitch.
It's under a lot of pressure right now, for sure. It's getting like mainstream attention, the shit that like Hassan and all them yap about. Because, you know, moderation bias, yada yada. I've heard a lot of mixed signals on whether or not it's affecting ads. Like, a lot of people are saying it is, and then some people are saying it's not. It's hard to tell like what's actually happening.
So someone's saying it's like tags.
Yeah, that's definitely a component. Like, if you have a political tag, you make zero money off ads, I believe.
Thank you, David.
I think it's actually zero.
What's up, side? Right, it was so funny. The content creator was showing how he went from making $2,000 a day to like 400, and he was big mad. The people were like, oh, only $400 a day. Oh.
I think it was wait, wasn't it 10k to 2k?
Man, 10k to 2k. 10k to 2k a day. Such a ridiculous amount of money. Oh, it's like, oh, you make 2k a day. Oh, so only 2k. And like, he was so fucking clueless how he would be received. And he's like, oh, I do this for money. Oh, bro.
A lot of young people who blow up in content creation have a very like skewed view of money.
Yeah, if they go from like daddy paying for everything to like them making 10k, they never have the face where like they have to pay for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
I hate them.
Dude, the classic WoW, like, have you heard of, like, you know, like, the OnlyFans guild with Sodapop and GMing?
No.
Oh, it's such a genius fucking idea. They basically invite, like, all these ginormous... They did it last season. And, dude, Sodapop peaked at, like, 200k viewers or something. It's basically a streamer-only guild. Or content creator, anyway. I don't think it's just streamer. I think it's content creator-only guild. And they play hardcore classic. And then they clear the raids and stuff. And it's just like, it's so much good content, it's so much viewership, and it's so fucking fun to watch. It's so fucking entertaining, dude.
Is Tornado good after the patch? It's not Level Spiritborn level. It's a good build. It's fun to play. That's why I'm running it. And I'm running it the way that I want to play the build, and not like in a clunky way.
It's so good though.
I like Soda Poppin because he's not like he was towards the top, right? And he's still big and relevant, but he doesn't really care about how many views he gets. And he's happy with like relatively like low drama and stuff.
Oh my god, you're doing 65s at this speed?
Yeah.
He is low. He's like weird kind of drama. He knows how to like he knows how to like talk shit and not create drama. He's just good at it, bro. He's just good at streaming. Huh. How much damage are you missing right now?
A lot. I don't even have. I only have I only have one glyph. I don't even have my glyphs. Like, don't even have found them.
Oh, okay. That's not as bad then. Yeah, you have a lot of farming to do then, actually.
Yeah, I put in the work.
The right video, dude.
Oh shit! There's no way I can get to the boss. I hate how there's only 2 levels. There should be 3.
Yeah. Dude, what were some of the other bugs that got added? So there's the 20 or I think it's 15x, I think is what it is. Instead of giving 15%, it's 15x. They
really need to get better at bug testing. I don't even know what they would. I don't even know what could they do to prevent this. Like, they need to prepare the mid-season patch before. Maybe they need to take like a season off. Like, they need to take a season off and get like one season ahead.
Oh yeah, so Duper's figured out how to sell Opusite, by the way.
No way. What?
If you're full on Opusite and you salvage a masterworked item, it drops the Opusite on the
ground.
So Dupers are now selling
Opusite. How did they get maximum Opusite? Just botting.
They dupe it. You just dupe like a 12 masterworked item and then you salvage it. Then you just dupe it and salvage it, dupe it, salvage it.
That's crazy.
And there's a bug right now with Maiden where you get. There's dude posted a screenshot. He has 10,000 senders. Apparently, like if you just farm Maven for like 20 minutes, you get 10k senders.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not really a bug. Yeah. I mean, I know you can open all.
Definitely a bug. You can open every chest on the map after like 5 minutes. So
yeah. I mean,
you think that's a bug?
I don't think the chests are really important to be. I don't think they give that big of a reward, honestly. They're kind of underwhelming.
Oh. Well, then just get rid of the senders at that point. Just make it. You just walk around and open them, dude.
No, I think it's fine to do like do like 5 minutes of content and open the chest.
So what people are figuring out is that the senders are account wide. So what they're doing is you farm Maiden for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then you log into all your alts and run around and open all the big chests.
Yeah, that's what I do it every hour. I do that. It's good for like an aspect because I need them. Will you be doing PoE2? 100%. That's what we're waiting for.
The question is, will we be doing D4 once PoE2 comes out? That's a better question.
What does Ufgar think about
that? I mean, I assume we'll always cover this game for a week or 2, bro, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I think Uskar would be okay. Like, Uskar just wants... Follow the views, bro, you know?
The thing is that there's always going to be a lot of views in Diablo. It's like, never going to be a popular game.
I don't know, dude. Maybe.
You really think that Ruz thinks that PoE2 will absolutely kill Diablo 4. Like, literally kill the game.
I don't think it'll absolutely kill it, but it might shrink the barrier. Like, here's the thing, okay? Like, Diablo 4's most of Diablo 4's player base doesn't really consume content, right? Or they consume very light amount of content. So if you think about it, like, if with PoE2 comes out, it captures like, obviously it'll capture anyone who plays more than 3 hours a day. It's going to be swapping permanently. So you're left with the people who play less than 3 hours a day.
Okay,
And of that group of people, like, what percentage of them consume content? And if they do consume content, what percentage of them will be swapping games? And when you start to think about it like that, I think it starts to make more sense.
I don't agree.
I think, like, D4 viewership's going to go down a lot.
I don't agree. I think
Well,
everyone consumes content, and I think that a lot of people don't play more than a couple of hours a day. And I think for them, Diablo 4 might be just a better game. I thought that the leveling in PoE was quite brutal, honestly.
so PoE is PoE 1, I would argue, is worse in every single way compared to PoE 2. And it hasn't had a season in like 5 months, and it currently has over twice as many viewers on Twitch as Diablo.
I get it.
So imagine how much better PoE 2 is going to perform than Diablo 4. It's not even going to be close.
The mid-season update.
Oh, that's interesting. So there's like no bump. Interesting, actually.
There's like yeah, there's like no bump. Like no one is coming back for the season update. This is it?
That's Steam though. I don't really trust Steam as a because I would imagine like Steam is only like very softcore players, right? Because it'd be people who like didn't buy the game on launch.
I trust Steam. How dare you?
I'm saying it's a really specific sample size, you know, like or sample group. Like I don't think it's a very good metric.
I think it is.
If it is, then L.
L.
But yeah, it's hard to imagine a world where like imagine PoE 2 comes out, it peaks at like over 1 million viewers on Twitch as everyone's expecting. Multiple starter builds do like 1 million views. There's a lot of videos that are doing like 3 to 500k views. Like a lot of videos are gonna be doing like 500k plus views, and then a new D4 season comes out, and you can either do, and it's like a month after PoE 2, so you can still do 300k views on a good PoE 2 build, or you can do 100k views covering D4.
I never talked to you about like my new theory about Diablo 4 that I kind of and I'm turning like older content creators to my side. Like I was having like some interaction with Isha, so I explained that on the surface level, when they do these patches that are now, they have learned how to make a patch that doesn't piss people off. So they do a ton of buffs to everything. And that patch is like well optimized to not piss anyone off. The issue is actually that patch is making the game worse.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Buffing the game makes the game worse because the game, for the most part, becomes about getting this multiplier, activating it with however it is necessary, and it might make the build more clunky and unfun to play. Now it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but over a long period of time, when you keep doing those patches, that's what happens to your builds, and why all builds feel like trash.
I don't agree fully on the build side. For me, it's more so like the power creep makes everything too easy. Like, you know how like anytime that something's hard to farm, they make it crazy easy to farm, or if a content is slightly challenging, they make it absurdly easy. And what keeps happening is like they keep removing any kind of challenging content. Like, that's more so how I see it. Like, every time they buff stuff, it just, there's more builds that just one-shot everything instantly, you know?
That's also another problem. Okay, that's a good point. But no, I'm talking specifically about how builds aren't as fun. Because they're always clunky. They always work because of some fucking garbage mechanic. Very niche, very clunky. Like, think about how Bone Spirit worked, like, was that, a season or two ago?
Yeah, but they made it a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
The process of buffing it.
And sometimes it happens that it gets cleaner, but for a lot of classes, they never get cleaner. Like, think about how the Barbarian this season build work is so clunky. Like, all Druid builds are completely fucking clunky dog shit. Doing weird dances with basic attacks and things like that.
That's interesting you say that. Because, yeah, Necro's not like that. Necro's actually the opposite. Where the complexity of builds has actually been reduced dramatically. Where builds are way more brain dead now than they were on release.
Yeah, it's not for not every class, but
yeah,
overall overall the trend says that when you buff everything without a reason behind it, like you just buff. You don't know why you're buffing. You don't know what a build needs. Most of the times, what happens is that eventually the game becomes more and more clunky. Like, remember how like those sorcerer builds that were like immortal?
Yeah.
It's like, and like how Lurkin's always complaining about how horrible they are to play. That's like,
yeah.
And now like Rogue has like top 3 builds for Rogues are all based on like weird clunk interaction. It's so like, it's most of the game is like that. I think Necro's the only exception. I'm not even sure that's true.
Well, like for example, like Blood Surge is you literally just press Blood
Yeah,
Surge and keep up
yeah.
power up. Minions, they removed like half the mechanics that made minions hard to play. So now you just kind of run around to your minions to do maximum damage. Like there's like maintenance, but it's like super low maintenance.
Yeah, it looks like Necro's the only one that isn't suffering too much from like the clunkiness over the.
No, I would definitely. I think if any, like Necro has become so smooth, it's like bad. If that makes sense. Like you just put on Soul Rift, you activate Soul Rift, and you're completely unkillable, and you have infinite resources instantly. And there's like some ramp, like how to articulate it? It's like I will say Bone Spirit is still a little bit weird because you have to like keep up you have to keep up a lot more things, which is kind of annoying. Like you have to cast Bone Prison every 4 seconds. You have to cast Corpse Tendrils every 4 seconds. It's kind of like, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's getting more clunky. It's actually getting less clunky. Yeah. I will say though, did you watch the Soul Rift video Kay posted?
No.
Now that build is fucking clunky. It is extremely awkward to play. You have to you have to line up like all of your rune words to like, and then make sure like everything has to be like lined up perfectly when you activate your Soul Rift. It's like a whole thing, dude. It's really.
That's like every build for me for Druid, like. And there's like, even if you like, you have to wait 12 seconds to get your overpowered chambered, and then you press the hurricane, and for the entire duration of the hurricane.
Yeah. That's. Well, you don't have to wait for it. You have to. Yeah. Anyway, same kind of concept, I guess.
But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, there's, I think I already explained to you a little bit about the poison build for Druid. They were like how whoever created Druid had created this entire template for how Shred was going to work. Shred was going to be like a poison skill. Where like you stacked poison on the enemy and then you blurred beast, and also you had like your alpha aspect that made your wolves into werewolves, and then they applied rabies. Your dot, the rabies like a dot skill, and like Blizzard is stuck buffing rabies every single patch almost for Druid. They buff rabies, and no one ever uses that skill. That skill was 100% meant to be used with the alpha aspect in a blurred beast build. Where like you go around with your pack of werewolves, they apply poison, and then you blur beast.
That'd be so sick.
Yeah, and that was the theme of and they removed blur beast. So now there's like a million things that do poison for Druid that don't do anything. Like you're adding a little bit of poison to, and this poison damage doesn't do enough damage by itself.
Didn't they remove blurred beast because like they tried to fix it like 5 times and it just kept being bugged as fuck and they just gave up?
Yeah.
And just reworked it.
Yep.
Their software development team is, I think, genuinely the worst game development software group I've ever seen.
I might hear that most of them are quite quitting, and like they don't actually care. They're just most of them are like jobbers smooth from other departments, and they don't actually care about the product.
That's probably part of it for sure. But like, did you hear that thing that came out recently that the Ubisoft CEO said?
That half of their people are like newbies.
Half their people, it's their first game, the new Assassin's Creed.
But
I wonder if it's something like that as well.
It's like Blizzard too big, too many games.
Yeah, like I wonder if half the people that are programming for D4 have never programmed on another game before. Because like the amount of bugs and like how poorly designed their code structure is, how bad their QA testing is, how many bugs get into the game. All this stuff it all screams like no experience. Like it feels like 100 like college kids trying to make a game, you know?
Even their top-down, honestly, like whoever's in charge of Diablo 4, it doesn't shock me as someone that has created like a system that is like prone to like a good QA, and it's like everything is like very fucking vibe. And honestly, considering who is in charge and what Elon said, the thing about what's just vibing things. Like, you can't just fucking vibe things.
Dude, yeah. It's crazy. Listening to a D4 dev interview and then listening to a PoE dev interview, it is like...
There is a couple of them that are competent. Like, when I hear Adam Jackson talk, I understand he's a competent guy.
But it's...
But they need 10 of him.
He's not a mechanic guy.
Yeah.
right? Or wait, am I thinking of the right guy? You said Adam Jackson.
Adam Jackson is the lead class designer for like overall classes. I believe. It's the guy with like long hair.
Well. Oh, okay. Here's the thing I feel like about him. I feel like Adam Jackson is like, he's what a mid-level class designer should be knowledge-wise.
Ooh, why you're doing my boy dirty?
I'm just saying, dude. Like, if you, I don't know. Like, how many PoE2 interviews have you listened to? Any?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, tell me that they don't sound, and not just sound, but express significant more knowledge, competence, understanding, and effort than he does.
They might. You really need to have like less games. I don't know. People need to be more. People need to be more passionate and more focused, like just to one project. I guess. I don't know.
I kind of agree. Well, there was something that, like, okay, because like like Baldur's Gate, right, is like considered to be like one of the best games of all time. Yeah. The reality is they made Divinity Original Sin 1. They made Divinity Original Sin 2. They made like several titles that were the same genre as Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the same guys. It's a lot of the same management. It's a lot of the same developers, same artists. And they learn and they iterate and they learn and they iterate. And then they make like the best turn-based RPG ever created. And you can't just come out of nowhere, not having never made it, and make Baldur's Gate. It takes decades.
That kind of makes a good point. Like you can't just make the game. Like
yeah, you can't. What are you gonna say?
No, you're right. I think it's like very unlikely that someone can just come out and just make Baldur's Gate 4. Only they could.
Right.
It's a good point.
And if they went now and they spent like 10 years making like first-person RPGs, and then they went back, they wouldn't be able to make Baldur's Gate again.
Yeah. Temperature should be an aspect, yes. Should be a boon.
You'd lose some talent. And then, like, and I think it's like, dude, in the recent PoE2 trailer, it was like chills. It was like 10 years ago, we set out to make the best possible ARPG. And 10 years later, with PoE2, we believe we finally realized that dream. It was like fucking chills, dude. Like, because that's what it takes. 10 years of obsession over a genre to reach the top.
How did your meeting go, by the way?
Oh, good.
Are you gonna get funding?
Well, this guy's like helping me make the like pitch decks, and right now he's coaching me through. I'm making the like finances sheets and stuff, but he's showing my pitch deck to a guy who does pitch decks for AAA studios. And so I'm hoping that guy gets me connected to like investors and stuff if he thinks that our product is
Tell me
good.
again, what is that game you're trying to make?
Like
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic, kind of, yeah. Except less RNG, more of, or like less random generation and more of like a pre-designed world with dungeons and bosses and more character progression and stuff like that. Single player. Like kind of based off that formula.
Don't you think that it will get stale if it's not randomly generated? Is it meant to be like mostly just a campaign, or what is
so the idea that we're going for is that in one playthrough you'll experience, like your first playthrough you'll experience like 50% of what the game has to offer, and then the next playthrough you'll experience like 70% things you already experienced and then 30% new stuff. In the next playthrough, you'll experience 75% things you already knew and 25% new stuff. And the idea is, over time, eventually, you'll have experienced everything, but then you can experience the same thing from like different perspectives, different army comps, different heroes, different world map statuses, different like outcomes at different scenarios that lead to like different army sizes, or something about the dungeon changes because of something that happened in the world.
The way the way I play Heroes of Might and Magic is almost never finish my maps. Like the campaign, you do the campaigns, and then you do like the random generated map. You start, you play the early game, and then you get bored and you start again.
Right. So what we're trying to make like shorter games and stuff, and we have some ideas for how to try to keep people on. But yeah, you're right. A lot of people just play the early game. But if you just play the early game, there'll be like 6 different heroes to start with that start in different locations of the map with different relationships, different quests and stuff. So at least play like.
Someone said that the Black Myth of Wukong breaks down that argument because that was never made that game before.
I don't know a lot about that studio, to be honest. And also, I wouldn't say like, would you say whatever what's Black Myth Wukong is on par with a game like Elden Ring? Like, no. It's a good game, but it's not like a revolutionary game. It's just like a well-made game. But like Baldur's Gate, like, broke open the genre, right? Like, completely changed like the meta game. They added in like voice acting and like all this insane shit and the insane depth and stuff. Whereas that's just like a well-polished game.
Rus got you there, chat. He's right. Black Myth of Wukong is like not better than Dark Souls. It's not better than one of the Soul games. The Souls games are still the top end of, and only From Software can make them.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you Elden Ring versus Black Myth Wukong, right? It's like not really.
Diablo isn't a bad game. It's a Black Myth of Wukong.
Yeah, kind of. I agree. I've said it a lot. I think Diablo's like a 7 out of 10. It's like decent. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend like trying Diablo to people. It's just like after playing it for a year and a half and like being a Giga Blaster, like I want to like if I'm gonna spend my life playing video games, bro, I want to play a 10 out of 10 game. Like if I'm gonna dedicate my life to one game, I want it to be a 10 out of 10 game.
You don't want to play a 7 out of 10 game every day. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't mind playing it like start of season and stuff. It's chill, but it's like it's not the kind of game. Like,
lucky.
dude, like I'm not gonna lie, like with the classic WoW resets coming out, I decided to like lab out my leveling routes and stuff for hardcore, like just re-experience it and shit. And it's just like it's the first like I've spent the last like 2 weeks spending like a few hours a day on like various games, just kind of fucking around, watching a lot of YouTube and stuff. And like last night, I was like playing WoW, and I was like, holy shit, it's 4 in the morning. And that's like the first time it's happened. Like I can't remember like that feeling of like when you sit down and like you play a game that's just like a 10 out of 10 game. And you're like, I am ready to ruin my life. I'm not going to do this thing that's going to make me money. I'm not going to go hang out with my fiance. I'm not going to like fuck my business meetings, bro. I want to go play classic WoW. Like that is a fucking 10 out of 10 game. That's what I want Diablo to be. I want Diablo to be a game that's worth ruining my life over. And it just isn't that yet. And I don't think it ever will be after this X-Pack. I've lost all faith that it'll become that.
You've lost all faith.
I really did. I've always believed I used to believe in like the steady progression that like it's like the game keeps getting better and better, and it does. Like every season the game gets better. The problem is like the rate that the game is improving is
no, it's I actually think that some things improve and some things go backward, and like I also thought like the game was taking a good path. The issue is that I just don't think the classes are important. The classes are the most important thing. And balance is not getting better. It just goes back and forth.
Yeah. I feel like the rate of improvement of the game is slower than the rate that everything gets old, is kind of how I feel as well. Like, I feel like if the game released like it is now, we would have been pretty happy on launch. But the problem is, like, the rate at which it's becoming better, and like I said, yeah. It's like, the rate of improvement isn't keeping up with, like, just getting bored of the concepts.
Holy shit, that's a maxed out fucking aspect. Imagine.
You're huge.
Bro, what did they make aspects easier to max or what?
Probably. Wouldn't be surprised.
Guys, did they patch aspect and they're easy to get now? There's no way I got retaliation.
I don't remember reading that.
Oh no, it's not maxed. Why is it not maxed? It said 65. What the fuck is that? Scam. D4. My main problem with D4 is that I think that classes and builds don't get. They're very focused on content, and I think that's fine. I just think that their classes aren't getting better. Like I don't think Druid is getting better. It's getting. Why are classes not getting better?
Because I don't think their class designers have any idea what they're doing.
Exactly. I don't think their classes are getting better. I think their classes sometimes are getting worse.
I would say Necros is less interesting now than it was at launch for sure. Because it's like you know that feeling when when things are really imbalanced, where it's kind of exciting and wacky, and like there's all these weird interactions that you find and like crazy interesting things.
Mm.
And like all the interesting things are gone now and haven't been re-added. Every time one comes in, it gets removed, and everything is now working more so how Blizzard intended, which makes it boring. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like it's not interesting because it's like, oh, you cast Sever and it does damage, and then you have Infinite Essence because of this, and that's the build. Whereas like Infinimus was like an unintended thing that was like different and interesting and like unique. That was unlike anything that's ever existed.
I get the opposite feedback from most people. Were like, there's an initial wow factor on a clunky, unintended build, and then it gets boring and annoying to play really quick. That's because they are clunky.
Depends how clunky it is. Infinimus was never clunky. It's one of the nice things. You just press Blood Mist and like just wait for everything to die.
That's a huge issue when like something unintended is smoother and more interesting than what it is designed.
I think that's actually pretty normal. Like
no.
For example, like, dude, like if you look at a game like Super Smash Bros. Melee, right? They didn't. You're not gonna know what these terms are, but there's like a ton of movement tech in Melee that was never intended, but it makes the game 1,000 times better. There was a lot of stuff they meant to do in Melee that made the game better too, but there was a lot of unintentional stuff in Melee that made the game better. I think one of the problems that you run into in a lot of modern games is that they're so deliberately designed and so like meticulously careful about everything that it's not interesting. Like, fuck, dude. Like every game is
I disagree.
Similar and playing like, similar.
League of Legends, their class design has evolved, and now everything is made on purpose. Like the way you play the class, and the champions play beautifully in League of Legends. There used to be like you would find like pretty weird combination of skills and like some bugs like Alistar, but they are not as good as the modern classes.
I think if you have like an exceptional design team, Intentionality is way better. But most studios don't have exceptional design teams.
Like the thing is that your design team needs to be really fucking bad for like unintentional to be more fun to play than.
No. I think even for good design teams, unintentional outcomes can be way more interesting.
Doubt.
So like an example, right, is like, well, like first of all, Super Smash Bros. Melee, fantastic game, it's sold really well, and is also a god tier competitive game because of a lot of unintentional stuff. But another example is like Warcraft 3, for instance. I don't know how familiar you are with Warcraft 3, but like something like Ancient of War Creeping, where like the Night Elf buildings can like stand up because they're trees and they can attack stuff. So then people use them to like clear creep camps, which Blizzard like didn't realize how fucking powerful it was gonna be. But that's what makes it cool. You know what I mean? Like that's what makes it interesting. Is like they didn't mean for it to be used like that. And so you find clever ways to use things that aren't really intended, and it ends up in cool outcomes.
The issue is that when things become clunky and mandatory to play.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. Like
and
if
Diablo,
it's not fun to do.
Diablo's most of that is like that on Diablo.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, like I said, I do think intentional design is better. Like for League, where they have these developers that do nothing but like study League and play League, and they hire former pros, and like they understand the game inside out and backwards. It's a studio that primarily does one game and have been doing that game for a long fucking time, and you know they have all the systems set up for them. Like hyper intentionality can be really good.
I think that
for a studio like Blizzard that makes like really uninteresting and uninspired builds, I think it's bad.
Diablo 4 is fucked because PoE is always gonna be better because for them balancing and creating classes is much easier.
True. Yeah, very true. Although, from what I heard from the PoE people, they do a turn-taking approach to balance. They don't actually aim for every build to be equal.
Yeah, and that's what I suggested on like
yeah.
Woody flamed me for it. Woody flamed me.
Really?
My idea was that they should take a turn-based approach for balance, which is also what they do at Riot, which is like that's like where I learned it from because I was working with Riot on TFT and stuff. And we was like, no, that's such a stupid idea. He told me something about my idea was stupid. Like I said, you can't balance everything at the same time. The game is far too complicated for that to have ever built balanced.
Another word for boring, in my opinion, in games like this. Like, when was the last, like, dude, dude, check out my new super balanced and fair build that has a medium amount of mobility, a medium amount of defense, and a medium amount of damage. Isn't this fucking sick, you guys?
You best, most balanced, same damage, same defense, same speed as the other build.
Like, nobody wants that shit, bro. People want new OP crazy builds.
People want. I told you, make sure that every season, every class has at least one new OP build that is new and fun to play. Then, if there's other things that pop up that also work, that happen to work, cool. But there has to be one new strong build every season. And they fucking flame me for that. Those fucking dogs.
Well, one of the problems you run into in D4, and I think part of the reason why you got flamed for it, is because the builds in this game are pre-designed by Blizzard, and they take they design a build, then they take all the pieces that make the build work, and then they scatter them throughout a bunch of glyphs and aspects and stuff, guild tree, and then you're supposed to reassemble what Blizzard already made. That's how builds work in this game. So when you're talking about
that's how they should. That's how they should. That's how they should work.
10 different versions of Bone Spear that all function slightly differently. No,
there was. No, it's not true. There was. Weren't you running Bombardier Bone Spear?
Oh, that was that's like a World Tournament 4 farmer. It never had very good damage. It's just that all the content was so easy, it was able to outscale it. But that's a farming build, I guess. It's trying to figure out how to articulate it. It does half as much damage, but it does more consistent, bigger AoE damage. So it's better for very low level farming, essentially.
Sounds like all the PoE builds.
Kind of. Well, the thing is, in PoE, there's places for different types of builds, right? You can play really fast builds, or you can play slower builds that are better for bossing, or you can play big AoE, small, you can tailor make builds for different types of content.
The issues is that in Diablo 4, it tends to be one content people focuses on, and that you have to do all content. Instead in PoE, you don't have to do all content. You can do one content.
Yeah.
So your builds feel shit.
All content's also the same. It's move and kill. Those are the two things that matter in every form of D4 content. So what is the best is builds with big AoE and lots of mobility. And there's no content. If you have a build with, for example, Bone Spirit, being the best build in the game for a while, there was no place for it because it's slow.
Yeah.
Even though it does way more damage, there's no way to express that damage in farming efficiency, because the only thing that matters is speed and AoE size.
You only have to shift 3 times to get the quick shift buff. Because you do 2 forms each time. But yeah, I'm not doing it.
Dude, aren't shitting on D4 streams the best?
Yeah. That's true.
This season was really frustrating.
This season, I was very excited about it, and I think a big problem was the power of Spiritborn was completely out of control and ruined everything for everyone.
Huge problem.
Well, I think it's definitely a positive thing. I think maybe it makes people understand how important balance is. Instead of shitting on people for
watch the dev talk.
No.
Did you get linked what they said in the dev talk about Spiritborn's play rate?
Yeah, it was we knew that it was 70%.
Yeah, but did you hear what they said about
it?
Oh
yeah, I saw what they said about it.
Where they're 65% of people played Spiritborn, and that's because the class is really successful and fun to play, and people really like it. So I think they actually view Spiritborn being this fucking broken as a massive success, because you remember how we were talking before about how they designed by metrics?
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening. So I think what's happening is the guys who designed Spiritborn, the way that they evaluate the success of the class is based on play rate. So they see a lot of people played it, so then it's good. The designers did a good job.
Well, it's both of those things are true. Unfortunately, it is true that it gets played because it's broken. It also gets played because it's the only fun class to play.
Well, sure, but here's an example. So with Necro, Soul Rift is now being played in every single build, just like we said it was going to be, right? It's just better than everything in every single build. It's just completely fucking broken. It's probably the best ability in the entire game. And I bet you the developer who designed it is getting kudos at the office because the play rate is so high. Because in their mind, that means it was well designed. Not that it's so fucking broken that it's mandatory in every build.
Yeah, it's hard to judge. It's hard. It's hard. It could be two things. It could be it's so OP that it has to be used, and it could be it's really fun. It's and you need to be a very skilled and knowledgeable person to understand the difference.
Yeah. And I don't think they see that distinction.
No.
So I think they see the play rate on Spiritborn as, oh, this class must just be well designed, not realizing that most people are just gonna play with OP.
That's my issue. It's that they don't understand that people will play what the people don't want to be forced to play what is the most OP, but they do because they don't have no choice. They have to play what's the most OP, otherwise they're gonna feel bad and they're gonna feel weak.
Yeah.
So a class cannot only do enough damage. That's what I said. You need to be doing enough damage, and the class, the build, needs to be cohesive, elegant, fun to play.
I don't agree with that part actually.
Hard.
Well, but here's why. I think you'll agree with me. Because that implies that the build is pre-designed by Blizzard, essentially.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you need to give people enough angles of customization that sometimes the outcome is not fun to play. But the problem is that it's not angles of customization, it's one version is always 50 times better than any other version.
You need to give a degree of customization, but not to the point where, like, the builds... It can happen once. Yeah. It can be some season where, like, the best build is a clunky-ass build, and it can be okay for one build. You don't want it every season, though. You don't want those, like, super... Bro, Druid is so bad to play. Druid is so bad to play. Like, really? the top builds for Druid is, like, you stand still for 10 seconds, then you move. Or, like, you have to use basic attack because you want to be in bear form. And you just use basic attack constantly, just because you need to be in bear form. And you have
the funny thing is, I remember in the PTR, like, Druid had some pretty slick-looking builds, and they all got nerfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's the thing. The most successful season for Druid was the previous season, where the build was unintended, like the interaction with the Earthbreaker for the Lightning Storms. People love that build. But most of the time...
It's easy to play and big animation, and it's really fucking OP.
Yeah. But most of the time, they hate the random ass junky Druid builds. So, like, out of all the times, only one time the junky ass build was popular. All the other times, the junky ass build was, like, really annoying. And that's like...
I agree with you. It's like the old Bone Spirit. Like...
Yeah, it's the old Bone Spirit. Yeah, yeah, that's an issue. Too many builds are like that.
I feel like the problem is that the multipliers are so big that, like, the clunky version of the build is so much better than the non-clunky version that you can't ever justify playing the non-clunky.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to... It's like... That cannot happen. It cannot be that garbage. Like, Spiritborn... There was a lot to discover in Spiritborn.
Because it is new, but it's not going to feel that way next season.
Sure. But again, that's the same for everything, though.
Well, to an extent, yes. But it's because the number of levers that... Oh.
Also, people don't... So, your idea that people need to discover builds is so wrong, because no one actually theorycraft builds. People copy builds, for the most part. I'm
not saying discover. I'm saying accesses of customization. So, okay, so, like, to give you a better example, right, is, like, let's say that you don't want to play Overpowered Bone Spirit because it's really clunky and annoying to play. Get fucked. You're playing Overpowered Bone Spirit is the response, because non-overpower is literally 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
And so, that's why I feel like...
That's why builds have to be pre-made by Blizzard. To an extent. To a large extent.
Do you think in PoE 2 they're pre-making all the builds?
Yes, and I tell you how. It's because there's no classes in Path of Exile. 90% or 95% of the multipliers in the game are shared.
Yeah, but, like, even if you look at something like
it's easier to balance.
There's like 40 or 50 different skill gems you can put on any one skill. Yeah,
but again,
there's a crazy amount of combinations. I think that there's
but it's still one class. It's so much easier to control Path of Exile balance because stuff is shared among classes. In Diablo 4, every class is different.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I agree with that. So, yeah. Because, like, I get what you're saying. And, well, but I do think that the Path of Exile's reliance on additive rather than multiplicative damage also makes it a lot easier to balance.
Yeah.
Because like it's like what you were saying. Like if one build has like 10% multipliers, another build doesn't have, that's 21% more damage.
Yeah.
It's already like so much better from two very small multipliers
Yeah.
in this game.
Two very small numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reality is like a build will have a 100% multiplier and a 200% multiplier over another build, and it'll be 6 times as good.
Yeah. It's like there's no fucking way you can. Even the 20% is a huge difference, and there's like no fucking way that over adding like a million mechanics to add damage to the class, you don't get those differences. It's like you already fucked yourself. It's so hard to balance already.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like that's almost a bigger issue than like having the classes.
That's why I think to an extent it's better to have like a highly pre-made builds with like a certain at least level of control damage.
That I don't agree with. The pre-made builds are just boring.
They're not boring.
Like
you make them fun to play.
No, they're uninteresting. Like
no, you make them fun to play. People don't make the builds, dude. Like they copy them.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that PoE's complexity, like, okay, well, let me start like this. Do you think that the complexity of builds in PoE has made the game more or less successful over time?
More, of course, but it's mostly decided by them.
But if the complexity of builds if the complexity of the builds does make the game more popular, but most people don't make their own builds, then why does the complexity of builds increase player retention?
That's because they think there is complexity in it. Like if Blizzard makes build for classes, if actually the top builds are already pre-crafted, so it wouldn't change anything from how the game is now. Let's say that they actually can figure out what things to buff to make a build that is non-clunky for Druid, that plays well, smooth. You don't know as a player that build was pre-made. Only they know. It's a secret.
So my argument would be
you would arrive to their same conclusion, but you don't know that it was a pre-made conclusion.
I think that the reason why Path of Exile's complexity and depth is good is because people use each other's builds as templates. So yeah, on your very first build ever, you'll probably try to copy them exactly. But I bet you most people who have more than, let's say, 500 hours will get a helmet and be like, oh, my helmet has this stat on it, which means I don't need that stat on my chest piece anymore. And then they can like modify the build a little bit. Or they'll play a similar build, but with slightly different, like a defensive layer. Like maybe instead of going for block, they go for evasion or something. And they can like make slight modifications or major modifications to the build where the build still fundamentally works the same way, but they can change and turn different knobs and dials. So like for instance, like let's say a build is like really clunky and annoying to play, and there's a modification you can do where you do 10% less damage, but the build's way smoother. If you want to, you can make that modification, right? I feel like the customability and the ability to make the build play the way that you want to play it is what makes the complexity in PoE good. So it's not that I think that like every build needs to be discovered by the community and all the builds have to be unintended. It's that I think you have to have so many ways to customize how a build plays that it can play exactly how you want it to play if you can get like the right stuff for it. And the problem in D4 is that the best way to play the build is so much better than the way you want to play the build that you can't play it the way you want to. You have to play it the way
that's one issue, right? Because the way damage multiplicative works, it's very bad.
Yeah,
but you are the first person to say, no, you need damage to be multiplicative because I want that when I change my gear, I feel the burst of damage increase.
Well, yes, but you have that in PoE without reliance on giant multipliers. So, like, because, like, for example, dude, when you get a new fucking weapon in Path of Exile, you feel that shit. It is
you never go to endgame in Path of Exile. Like, I go to Path of Exile in endgame, like, you're fucking upgrades. Well, you never got to endgame in PoE 2, so we have to talk about PoE 1.
Sure. PoE 1, yeah, is not super spiky, but you have like a lot of bumps in power.
Bro,
but yeah,
you don't.
It's not as spiky as the damage in D3.
It's almost impossible to like get like an upgrade on your gear after a certain point.
Yeah, if you're talking about like full, like when you're 200 hours in.
Man, not even that. Like even earlier, like the cost from like getting an item with one extra useful stats, it's like 20x the cost of the item, and you don't drop it. I think Path of Exile, people like mostly care about like doing more builds, and I think that's what casuals play like. Casuals like to switch between different builds.
Well, the audience in PoE is way more hardcore than D4s. Like it's not even close.
I'm not sure. Might have been overblown. Is my build uploaded on Mobalytics? No, not yet. I'm still finishing I'm still finishing the build. I'm not sure how I want the build to look. I should probably check if there's any improvements I want to make more.
Well, here, look at it like this. Does Path of Exile or D4 peak at higher player counts when season start? Like, Path of Exile has less players than D4, right? You agree with that?
Yeah.
But Path of Exile has way more viewers on Twitch and YouTube for longer.
Wait, are you sure that Path of Exile has less players than because we don't really know their console numbers and stuff.
That's the data that we get. I don't know how much I believe it because Path of Exile does so well. But that's the data that we have.
I don't believe it. Though.
I personally don't, but that's like the meta narrative is that D4 has this massive casual audience that doesn't watch content, which is why it feels... I don't really believe it myself. But here, I will say this, okay? Ever since I moved back to small town USA, I've ran into quite a few people that play Diablo, and most of them don't consume content. I'll say that. It'll come up in conversation. Like, people ask me what I do. I say I do YouTube covering games. They'll say, oh, what game do you cover? I was like, oh, I cover Diablo. They're like, oh, I play Diablo. I'm like, oh, shit, do you watch content for it? And they always say no.
That's crazy.
So, I'm just saying, I have actually encountered this mystical audience now.
I'm not doing any of the bugged builds, and I'm not playing like a clunky... People are asking me if why I'm not doing like the meta stuff. Well, first of all, because even if I play the meta build for Druid for like most damage, two things happen. One, the build becomes unfun to play, and second, it's gonna do 1,000 times less damage than Spiritborn. So why not just log on my Spiritborn character? If I play Druid, I wanna feel the fantasy of the fast werewolf that is a werewolf, looks like a werewolf, it plays Grizzly Raid. Like I wanna a smooth build that is fun to play. I close my eyes, I don't look at the pit level, and I just enjoy the game. Like, but honestly, I wish like every class did less damage because the content is too easy.
Oh yeah,
I prefer bosses on. Oh what? Oh, Uber boss! One skill. You one shot the Uber boss. What a stupid game.
It's retarded.
I wanna the mechanics. I wanna do them.
Dude, the start of the season, like when you're like, that's what sucks though. Is like even at the start of the season now, you just farm the Uber bosses on the lower tournament. It's like better, but that feeling whenever you fight like a tournament 4 boss for the first time and it's like actually hard is so good.
Yeah. I actually like I love the beginning of a season actually.
Yeah, the first couple days are really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least this. It depends on the season.
This season was really fun the first couple of days.
It was, yeah.
Spiritborn just ruined everything after, and we have a bad taste in our mouth now.
It was the bugginess for me, more so than Spiritborn's power level and like them being bugged aside. The fucking like bugginess of the different farming methods and stuff, the RMT, the duping, that's really what killed it for me more so than Spiritborn. The bugginess and RMT, and it just feels like shit. Because for like, dude, how fun would it be if you could actually grind and then push leaderboard? That would be so hype. But you can't.
And then, man, you cannot talk about those things. Like, you cannot make a video about this shit. That's so annoying.
Because Blizzard gets mad or because people don't care?
Because Blizzard gets mad.
Yeah, it's pathetic. That was the other thing that really turned me off of this game. It was like so buggy, and the bugginess was like ruining the game for me. And the duping, everything was so frustrating. Whenever we were asked to take down our like video about the bug, I was like go fuck yourselves. Like, that is so cringe.
I would love to make a video on like reason why Diablo 4 stops being fun, and like show look how much they're duping. Like look how they get infinite Obdusite, and they said look how much people RMT, and look how RMTers never get banned. But you can't talk and make videos about any of that. I can only talk about it on Twitch because I have 50 people watching me now. But if it's like at the start of the season, like,
yeah,
it was like if it was like 800 people watching my stream, I wouldn't be able to talk about it like at the start of the season. Or like YouTube videos, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. Maybe even now I can.
Blizzard is valuable, but I still think Dude, like Rax and them like shit on Blizzard.
You can shit on Blizzard, but there are certain things that are like embarrassing to them. Like
the fact that their game is a buggy nightmare.
The dupes and bugs are like a touchy subject because they're really embarrassing.
Not embarrassed enough to do anything about it. Just embarrassed enough to try to censor conversations around it. It's actually so pathetic. Like, dude, oh man, I get so heated thinking about this, bro. I can't even lie to you. It makes me so angry to think about. Like the audacity.
It grinds your gear.
What'd you say?
It grinds your gear.
It does.
What's up, Stale?
The audacity to make a product that's so buggy.
I'm in the Philippines.
And instead of trying to fix the bugginess, the solution is to like attack people who are covering the bugginess. It's so fucking insane to me. Oh no, but I was gonna say part of the reason why like a video about like duping an RMT also wouldn't do well is because people who care about that shit quit the game in like season 1 or 2. Like the remaining audience for D4 are mostly people who don't really care that much about those kind of things.
It's yeah, I mean, I appreciate a lot of people at Blizzard and I have a good relationship with them. I don't want to read them, and that's why I don't want to push this topic. But damn, fix it. It's and I don't know. There's too much. There's like not enough accountability. The problem is some devs are really good. Some devs are really good, and some devs are not. And for the bad devs, there's no accountability. Like if the Druid dev. The guy in charge of, so the Spiritborn guy talks to me person to person. Cool, appreciates everything. The Druid guy wants the feedback but doesn't want to talk because he knows I would rip him a new fucking asshole. Like I would tell him, okay, why did you buff rabbits by 10%? Like what's your logic? And he would be like, and you're like, you're not fucking working. You did no math. There's no logic. This change is stupid. Which I wouldn't do to the other guy, because the other guy doesn't do things like that. The other guy like knows what's need to be changed and why and plays.
Yeah, maybe the Spiritborn dev guy knows what's up.
The Spiritborn dev knows what's up. But the Druid guy is like afraid, like, because he knows I will call him out on his bullshit.
Yeah, it's the same problem with the Necros. The Necro devs are honestly like children. They don't really know what's going on.
The Druid dev is quite quitting. He does X amount of changes that are required for the patch notes, but they don't make sense. He looks at the data, does the changes based on data, and then the builds suck, and the builds are clunky, and the cast gets worse.
Well, dude, you remember I was explaining like the corpse explosion, the problem with corpse explosion? So you put like a big dot on the ground, right? And the enemy stand in the dot and take damage. And they added fear to the unique gloves. So the second any enemy touches the dot that sits on the ground and doesn't move, they instantly run out of it.
Yeah.
And in this, I sent them notes like saying to remove the fear and everything. And they finally decided to address the issue, so they increased the damage by 20%.
Bro.
And it's like you're like clearly they have no fucking idea why nobody's playing that build. You know what I mean? Like they literally have no fucking idea why.
Like, how about pushback? Like Boulder has never worked because of pushback. For 1 year, people told them we don't want pushback on a skill that like it rotates around you and pushes all your enemies away so you do no damage. What design is that? So instead of just fucking removing pushback or making it like a knockdown or something, they just made it so it pushes so little that you don't notice it now. Just to pretend that they didn't make a mistake for 1 year. Just own to it.
Yeah.
Pushback.
Pushback.
Yeah. What do they think? It's a Dark Soul game? Or like it's a fucking fighting game?
They think it's Elden Ring or some shit, bro.
They think they're making Elden Ring? Like... Pushback in a like where enemies die in 1 second, and it would push people to Narnia, not even close. It would push them to like the fucking other side of the room. Great.
Dude, it's crazy. Dude, I can't wait for people to dive in PoE 2 and see what a good skill is like. A well-designed skill where you read a skill and you're like, wait, does this work with that? And it always works, and it's always interesting, and
It's going so. I'm never gonna betray NDA or anything like that. But just knowing what Druid is gonna be like for PoE2, oh my god.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Oh my god. When people see Druid in PoE2, and I know there's videos out from some stuff, but the stuff that is not on the videos, oh my god.
And dude, okay. How does Blizzard respond to PoE2 coming out, do you think?
Just
like, so you have a game coming out that's like way better boss design, right? Better class design, better build design, way better combat, way better end game systems, better economy. It's basically better in every way. What do you think Blizzard does in response?
Nothing. I think that literally PoE2 could release with only Druid and like no content, just Druid in a room, and it would have more player base than Pot of Exile. That's how good Druid is gonna be.
Oh, you mean more players than D4, you mean?
Yeah, I think if you like PoE2 Druid, you put it in a room and you cannot leave the room, it will have more player base than all of Diablo 4. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you why, but and no, it's not gonna be available on the release of PoE, but it will be shortly after. They say they're gonna. Is that not under the right? That they want to release more classes?
They're releasing classes.
Yeah,
no,
it's not.
No, I mean, obviously they're gonna release more classes. You can't say like how many classes or anything though.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, people know that Druid exists. They just don't know when it's gonna come out. It's already made, it's there, and when it comes out, it's over.
It's gonna be so sick, dude. It's gonna be so sick. Dude, even the Witch, man, like the minion builds. Oh my god, the minion builds. Bro, I remember like when they first released that Witch trailer, and the guy opened up his UI, and there was like 10 different types of minions, and he could customize his, and he called it an army composition. I was like, holy fuck. Like, holy fuck, bro. I fucking end, dude. It's so sick.
Yeah.
It's... I feel like they really, like, understand why people want to play different classes, I feel like.
Yeah, it's fantasy, yeah.
It is, yeah. Like the minion, like they want minion to feel like an army. Like you have like a fucking army you run around with. They want barbarian or like the warrior to feel like a fucking like 5,000-pound monster who just like chops everyone to pieces in like one swing. Like I feel like they just like get how everything should feel. And everything's so different, man. Oh my god, I'm nutting. Gonna have to go clean up.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's amazing. Very excited for PoE2.
Yeah.
I got people excited for Druid on PoE2.
Dude, it's gonna be so good. I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Uncautiously optimistic, I would say.
I think so. I think 65 is still the best for up to 45 the glyph, then I'll raise it after. What's up, Rob? How you doing? What's up? Oh yeah, we cannot talk about that. Not talk about the content creators. No, just the events and stuff. Like Ruz was hoping to meeting you, but he didn't for a thing happened and recently. But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be lit. The dev stream's tomorrow, by the way.
Oh yeah. I guess.
Yeah, it's a 2-hour deep dive.
Did you ever get contacted by people inviting to events for PoE? I'm being very vague.
You're talking to Rob?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like surprised that they invited like really small content creators, and not inviting Rob would have been weird. So he just didn't. I guess he just didn't go. Okay. There was a cow.
We I can tell you why. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I think it's gonna be sick, dude. Tomorrow should be really hype. Like all the information we're getting tomorrow is gonna be really sick.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like I was like, it's crazy, dude. The game is so good. I genuinely don't think that like it's like I feel like when Diablo 2 came out, Diablo 2 was like genre defining huge step. Like Diablo 1 was really good, but I feel like Diablo 2 is like really what cemented the like modern ARPG formula. And it feels like for so long, like every ARPG is just like kind of a different version of Diablo 2. Like same kind of combat, similar sort of progression.
Yeah.
It's like they play a lot like D2, just like more complicated, better graphics, better feeling, etc. PoE 2 I feel like is the first like big leap forward since D2. It is like the natural thing that the genre should become.
It's because they're the only one that worked consistently on RPGs for the past 10 years, so they're the only one that are that can do phase 2. Like Diablo 4 is still trying to recreate their base. They're still trying to like learn how these games work and what works in them.
Yeah, because it's like we were talking about, where like probably half the Diablo team has never made an RPG before, if not more than half.
Next time you go to an event, Rob, because me and Ruse don't go at the same time. It's like so like if this time like Ruse went, but next time if you go, I'll go. So we meet.
But yeah, it really just feels like PoE 2 is the next great leap forward, dude. I'm hyped, bro. I'm fully hyped. No more coping. I'm not even like hedging anymore. I'm just hyped.
Yeah.
No hedging.
Yeah.
Just edging.
It's not that D4 is a bad game, like you said. It's a 7 out of 10, and the start of the season, it's always incredibly fun. It's just that after that, the problems come out.
Yeah, once you start getting the duping and the RMTing and the redundant grinding and etc.
Yeah, and the balance and the clunkiness, certain builds.
Yeah.
Power
It's a
scaling.
game that starts strong, but then like falls apart.
Yeah. We were talking about how, again, how incredible consistent you are, Rob, and like how like, you're just built different.
True.
Yeah. Really impressive. Meanwhile, me and Rose just fucking playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, vanish.
Not
2 weeks
vanish. 2 weeks.
Vanish.
Stop streaming. Dude, that feels so bad.
I'm gonna be very surprised if PoE doesn't eat a sizable portion of the D4 audience. But the thing is, I feel like PoE is gonna have such a wide audience capture. It's not even gonna get most of its audience from D4. It's gonna be getting a lot of audience from like Elden Ring. It's gonna be getting a lot of audience
everyone. I think they're to the point. Oh shit. I think they're to the point where when they release a game, now they have a name behind. It's like everyone plays Diablo 4 because it's Diablo 4, and I think PoE 2 is gonna be like that.
100%, yeah. Because you got to think, like, how many millions of different people have played PoE 1 over the years?
It's not only that. It's people that have heard about PoE, but they never played it. But now that it's a new game, they're gonna get into it to try and be there the first.
And I feel like their marketing for 2 has been good in a way where it's been very cost efficient. It's like not as crazy as D4 marketing, but like if you go look at their videos, they have like a lot of like videos with like well over 1 million views, and there's a lot of like random creators that make content about PoE that has already done over 1 million views, you know?
That's the elephant in the room that I don't know what's gonna happen. Like we don't know how the cycle of seasons is gonna be, because we know that PoE 2 and PoE 1 are gonna be opposite seasons, but we don't know where Diablo 4 is gonna fit in that. And it could be a problem for content creators like us. Like if the biggest issue is if PoE is first and then Diablo is like 2 weeks after. That's the problem. The best case is Diablo's first and then PoE is after. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because Diablo 4 doesn't last as long.
You pretty much do everything you want to do in a season in 2 weeks.
Yeah. The big is like first few weeks.
And then only Chads like Rob can find ways to make the game fun after that.
Yeah.
But
3 weeks. Maximum.
3 weeks on a good season, yeah. This one was only 2. For
1 month on 1 month on a great season, but yeah, no more than that.
To be fair, season 4, I got like a solid like 3.5 weeks. But the thing that made season 4 good will never happen again, which is we had leaderboards and there was RMT, but it wasn't as bad as it's become. Like that was back when you could actually reasonably still compete. It was hard, almost impossible.
Now the duping of items is just ridiculous.
Yeah, you literally cannot compete on D4 leaderboards anymore unless you swipe.
Because because they dupe Obdusite, they dupe everything. They dupe Obdusite, they dupe items.
Yeah.
They dupe everything. Materials, they dupe like this season was the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
And it doesn't get fixed because you cannot talk about it.
The thing is, the start of the season was the best. It was the best, like, first week of any season. But it fell off a cliff. Rob, you're not making videos about how they're duping Obdusite and stuff, right? You also don't want to, like, rock the boat. Or did... I have to take down my video about the bug for Undercity. The thing that's really frustrating about their approach to bugs is instead of fixing the bugs, they try to stop people from covering them. But it doesn't change how like duping affects the game, and it doesn't change how, like, the day the Undercity bug was discovered, like, the dupers had already been using it for a week. Like, not being able to talk about the bugs, like, they're because the problem is nothing ever happens at Blizzard unless there's wallet pressure, right? So, like, you need to have wallet pressure, and the only way to generate wallet pressure is to generate, like, some amount of outrage. And the only way to generate outrage is to, like, make content about it. But then Blizzard attacks the people who are trying to cover it. It's like, it's so fucking dumb.
Because when you talk about things like that, people stop playing the game. And that's bad, that's bad for them, obviously. But if they fix the game, then it's good for them long term. The problem is that they don't see it that way. They think they're doing the best thing. Because in their mind, they obviously always take the right approach. Because that's their choice. They think about what they think they should do, and they do it. If you disagree with them, and you force their hand by making a video about the bug, and then they're forced to do something else. That's a problem.
Yeah, Rob has a good point, though. Like, maybe the play is you cover the bugs without talking about how to do them.
Have you? Yeah, of course. Not share how it's done. That's fine. But I don't know if you've done like I don't think I've seen you do like a video about like the duping and like duping Obdusite, or like showing them with like all the
Well,
Obdusite cap.
I feel like the problem is that like
talk about RMT.
The part of the audience that cares about RMT duping in-game progression has largely quit the game already. And the problem that you run into is it's hard to rile people up because the people who have the mindset where that affects them have largely already quit playing. And so it becomes a really difficult issue to fix because unless you can create giant pressure, Blizzard won't fix it. And you can't really create giant pressure because the people who really care about that stuff don't really care for the game. Because of issues like that being in for so long.
That's whenever you go into like a Discord or something for like a dead game and you have some suggestion, people are always against it because the people that are left in the Discord are people that like the game how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Because the people who care about this stuff have been ostracized from the game since Season 0.
Yeah. So it becomes an echo chamber.
Not exactly, or kind of. I guess, yeah, kind of. It's more so that like games over time just lose anyone who's not their core audience, and then the problem is games become stagnant because the core audience is the people who like the game as it is.
Yeah.
So then the game.
And they don't wanna take a risk and rock the boat.
Yeah. And then Blizzard lacks the developer insight to realize what kind of changes are actually good and healthy long term. So it's like, dude, it's such a problem.
It is. I think that maybe in like 5-6 years the game is gonna be good. Like that they're gonna have the developers with experience.
Well, what's it gonna be, like an 8 out of 10 in 6 years, like from a 7?
No, I think it could be a 9 out of 10. I mean, if they don't
get to a 9.
Yeah, maybe even and I think eventually maybe they realize like the top guy is not the right lead. They get a new lead, and everyone gets better at their job, and they hire people that are like more interested in it. Slowly, everything gets better. I mean, I saw it happen in TFT.
It has happened in World of Warcraft, to be honest. Classic and Retail are both in the best state they've ever been in. So, it's not impossible.
The problem is that with Diablo games, is that they make Diablo 2, then the team quits, and then another team makes Diablo 3, and then that team quits, and then another team makes Diablo 4. There's no consistency. Like, the team that makes Diablo 4 needs to make Diablo 5. They move things around, like... they have like gaming studios and like a group of that that's like makes they give them a random game. No, you need to give the same people the same type of game.
Yep, yep. And I think that the problem you run into is the way that Blizzard is designed. They won't make Diablo 5 for another 5 years. Or, you know, if it's like previous times, it'll be another 7 or 8 years yet.
I mean, I think unfortunately there might be the amount of time they need to create a good team for it, like PoE had to.
Yeah. But do you think that's going to be the response? I feel like if PoE 2 actually blows this game out of the water, I feel like the response is actually going to be to reduce investment.
I don't know. I hope that people keep, because if the game is fun for us for like a couple of weeks, I think it probably is fun for people for a month.
Well, for instance, how much have you heard about D4's Vessel of Hatred sales?
Well, I know that 25% of the people that started the season are still playing, and it's over a month in, right?
I'm not sure about that data, but just like
On
how
Steam,
much have
at
you heard
least.
about sales of Vessel of Hatred?
It wasn't good.
No. Well, how much have you heard, like, numbers?
Nothing.
Nothing. How much did you hear about D4 launch? How many copies it sold?
Honestly, not. I checked it. It didn't do too well. I can show now.
Well, it didn't do. But Blizzard was sending out statistics every other day on the launch of the game, right? This many monsters have been killed. This many hardcore players have been killed. We sold this many copies. We just hit 66666 sales or whatever, right? I don't know if you remember all that. But with Vessel of Hatred, they haven't done anything, and I think the reason is because it didn't sell that well.
I don't think Diablo 4 sold that well. Like I was checking.
It sold. It was the best-selling Blizzard game of all time, wasn't it? But I don't think it, like, for the year it was like 6th, if that's what you're referring to.
Control find. Diablo 4 was is still in the top of like most sold copies. Diablo 3, sorry, is 4th.
Oh yeah, yeah. Dude, can you imagine if D3 was actually PoE 2? Holy shit. Like, imagine it was that good on launch.
Diablo 4, there's no way this is true. Where the fuck is Diablo 4?
It's probably not on here because they don't have like statistics for it yet. D4 is like closer to like 10 million from what we know. 10 to 15, something like that.
Okay. I mean, that's still like a good game.
There's a lot of games on here that are missing, actually. This doesn't seem like a complete list.
No, Palworld, 15 million. Holy fucking shit.
Oh, this is PC only. That's why the list is weird. Okay, so, well, PC only, I don't know what D4 sales were. God, D3 sold 20 million just on PC? That's fucking insane.
Animals. That's off like the Diablo 2 Diablo 2 hype. They really blew that. You can tell like how like a good how much good reputation they blew away from that.
You know what that makes me realize? There's actually like a fucking timeline where ARPGs are one of the biggest games on Twitch and YouTube.
Is WERENADO worth switching to? I play pretty casually, rocking Boulder Cane. Okay, so if you're playing Tornado, you're not playing it to play the strongest build for Druid. You're doing it to play Tornado because it's what you wanna have fun, and Boulder Cane is annoying. That's why I'm doing this. You're gonna be doing lower pits than Boulder. For me, it's not an issue because if I wanna do high pits, I go on my Spiritborn. I just wanna play Wolf. You know, just being my furriest self. You played on you worked on Microsoft and people come to buy Diablo 3. That PC for Diablo 3, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I also got my PC for Diablo 3. True. Thank you for the... Oh, shit. I have my... Thank you for the sub. Appreciate the support. What's up, Slivers? How you doing? Yeah. Still, 10 million is pretty good. If that's true. You heard 10 million?
For D4?
And you think...
That's 10 million overall, not PC sales. But no, it is pretty good. It was like the 6th best-selling game of the year. Like,
and you think Vessel of Hatred sold bad?
Way worse, yeah. And in fact, we actually know that it sold below expectation because Blizzard didn't publish any numbers about it. If it did, expected numbers are above expected, they would have published the data.
Don't expect too much from the stream, guys. I'm just coming back a couple of days to play a little bit of Druid and having fun, waiting for PoE to. That's all there is to it. This season, yeah. Just being honest, for me, Diablo 4 for this season is a bit over. No. I just want to play what's fun. I miss playing Druid.
Diablo 4 stream. Do you?
Yeah, I love playing Druid. I love playing Tornado.
If Druid's stronger than Spiritborn next season, are you gonna play Druid or are you gonna play Spiritborn?
I will play whatever is strongest.
Damn. Cold. You're not loyal to any hoes, dude.
Well, I'm loyal. Well, the thing, well, they're both the same class, more or less. I just don't see ever, I'll be honest, I don't see ever Druid being better than Spiritborn, unless there's a bug.
It's hard to imagine a world where Spiritborn's not the best class. Like, they would have to almost rework, like, the class fundamentally.
Yeah. Spiritborn, it's gonna take so many seasons for other classes to be buffed and Spiritborn to be nerfed to get on the same level. I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's not even just numerics, though. It's also just the way their abilities work. Like, they just have built-in multipliers that other classes don't have. They have, like, way better skills. Like, it's just stronger and
better.
Multipliers aside, yeah. Speed is so much higher.
Yeah.
There's so many options for mobility.
They're new and better. It's a better design class. It's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish they would go back and redesign them. But again, you have the same problem where, like, the audience that would want a redesign is gone.
They need to redesign their... I think there has to be, like, an expansion where they redesign every class and not release a new class. Besides Spiritborn.
Yeah, it'll never happen, but yeah.
That's what
they're always going to do the thing that'll make them the most money on the next launch.
New class, new best build, new strongest, the best money maker.
You know when Paladin comes out, it's going to be so fucking overtuned, dude. I'm hyped. Because, like, you know how, like, they completely remove party buffs from every single class? When Paladin comes out, it's going to be so broken in parties, it's going to be disgusting. They're just going to let it happen.
I mean, oh shit. It'll be 46, not 45. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
you have no idea about Druid in PoE. You have no idea. It's under NDA, you cannot say anything. Again, if they only release the Druid in an empty white map where you cannot do anything, it will get more players than Diablo 4. That's how good Druid is in PoE 2. You should just stay like this in front of the monitor and wait for PoE 2 to release. And that's a good, like, it's gonna be worth it. Be ready to nut on the monitor because it's gonna happen. Bro.
Okay, you know how much of a cheap
gonna be
I am, right? And I never buy cosmetics. I always buy the cheapest version of everything. Right?
Oh, I'm buying cosmetics for Druid in PoE.
I'm buying? Dude, I want to buy the $400 supporter pack. I can't even lie to you. I fucking love PoE 2 so much. I want to give them I want to give them my life, dude. I'll give them everything.
Wait, there is a $400 supporter pack?
Something crazy like that. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think they're selling supporter packs yet. But for PoE 1, there's $480. Yeah.
Bro, $480. It better comes with like Chris Wilson, like a picture of his feet or something, signed. Like I don't know, like $480.
Dude, tell me right now if
$480
on Steam. Tell me right now if PoE 2 was $480 on Steam, you wouldn't buy it. Tell me you wouldn't.
Bro,
you would absolutely buy it.
100, maybe 100, 150, maybe 200, but 400 is crazy.
Job applications to the local restaurants, bro, busting tables, trying to get enough money together to buy this game.
If early access was $1,000, that I would buy. Like if the only way to get into the game was $1,000, I would pay $1,000 to play the game. Legit. Okay, that I would. One day I wish one game does that just to see how mad people are gonna be.
They are doing it right now with I'm surprised you by the way haven't been talking about it. The Ashes of Creation stuff. Have you been seeing that?
No.
They've been doing weekend betas, but you have to pay like $600 or something to get into them.
Well, I don't have time, unfortunately, to play that, but I think it's probably gonna be a decent game, and I would have loved to.
Yeah, maybe in 7 years when it's done. The problem is it's still so bare bones, bro. Like if they can do everything they want to do, the game will be so good. But it's so far from that.
I've seen it work with Albion, honestly.
Dude, Albion has been popping off still. Like, I was looking at the numbers.
Albion is a really good game.
Yeah.
And it's like it's slowly gotten better and better. And it's such a drama game, it's so good.
Dude, yeah.
Because you can conquer territories. Do you know that I was the first one to conquer a city in Albion when the city still existed? They had to remove cities because when you conquer someone's city, they would quit.
They would just quit the game because they lose too much progression?
Yeah.
Now, the concept of these games is always cool, but it doesn't really work out typically. Yeah.
So you get such an insane buff when defending your city that then you cannot like lose the GVG. And we got someone to like it was an inside job. It was like a betrayal where like someone gave me like the ownership of this city.
Yeah. Oh, so you didn't actually conquer, they just gave it to you?
No. Well, yeah, and I was supposed to like pay them, I don't know how, like many million of gold, and in the end we just kicked him out and just like kept the city. And the guy, and right, it's like, so that game, you guys have to understand it, it's like, it's a full loot PvP game. It's all about like, it's like Evil Line. It's all about backstabbing, and it's all about war and alliances, and like, you know, like you're going to like this large battle or something with like your alliance, and then, you know, 2 guilds in your alliance are actually betraying you and attacking from behind. It stuff like that. It's really fun. It's really fun. It's all those plots to take over, and spies entering your guild, and you always have to like try to suss out a spy. I think it's epic as hell.
It's the ultimate like no holds bar, like winner take all, like
it is.
No morality, just winning. And
that's how it started. They made it less like that because those games don't work. Like because when people are on the receiving end of that, when it happens, then they quit. So like those games are fun in the beginning, but then they just empty out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I when I had time, when between like pro gaming and content creation, I played a bunch of those games, and I had some of the best time of my life, just being this fucking cutthroat bastard.
Yeah, I like, for example, like a game like Dark and Darker is always really fun, but I always feel like it's like missing like a broader context to make everything more interesting, if that makes sense. Like, a game can have bad PvP, but if the context around the PvP is like fighting for territory and shit, it just makes it interesting inherently. And I feel like Dark and Darker, and like I feel like the problem with these games is like, in order to like risk enough for like the PvP to be super interesting, you have to risk enough to be like quit the game if you lose, essentially.
The most fun I've ever had playing a game was this game called Atlas, where the idea of the game is good, and it's just you cannot finish the game. It's too big. So it takes like 24 hours to travel the map. It's sea. There's islands, and in the islands is where like players build their base and their guilds live. You create ships, and there's naval combat and things like that. And okay, it's cool. The problem is that when people arrive and start burning down your ships, like they attack you during the night, you know, things like that. It's
yeah.
But the most fun is like when you have like a small group of like really skilled players, and you just go around terrorizing like a big island of like this big guild, and you just fuck them up with your little group of terrorists.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, like you said, full loot PvP games usually have a hard lifespan.
Yeah. But man, UA2 is not gonna have a small lifespan.
No.
It's the game.
I feel like on launch, I feel like people are gonna be like Pee-wee's gonna be busting for months and months and months, dude. Like,
we cannot talk about. Yeah, is today the dev stream? No, tomorrow.
I don't know. What time is it for you?
It's the 21st, and it's most noon.
It's in like 14 hours or something, I think.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, when they're gonna reveal. They already said what they're gonna reveal or not?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we cannot talk about that. Yeah. No, the content is good. The game is finished. That's rarely a game.
It's not finished. It's not
no?
finished. No. It's explicitly releasing in an early access.
Alright, are all the end features released, and what is missing is like non-end?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, kind of.
See, that's a smart decision. But like,
yes.
That's developers usually make the opposite mistake. Where like they do the things that are like not necessary for like longevity.
Yes, and they talk about yeah. I mean yeah.
They talked
Let's
about that too.
topics, bro. The longer we're on this topic, the higher the probability I break NDA on accident.
Yeah.
Or someone does.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your glyph leveling, dude. How's your glyph leveling going?
My glyph leveling is going great in my 65s. No, I'm not using the anti-van. I'm not using any bugs. Like, this is no. I'm not playing the game to play with bugs. No point. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fun. If I want to play with the bugs, I will go back to Spiritborn.
Pop the elixir, dude. Do it. Get to it'll put you at like 300k life. Some barb posted a picture at like 2 million HP.
Funny. I remember where like they could do 650,000 HP and play Thorns because they skill. Yeah. Oh shit! Is barb good now because they're at Thorn skills with HP?
I don't know. Didn't they remove that?
Oh, maybe they did. Oh, you might be right.
I don't remember.
That's the thing. They tend to remove in Diablo 4 a lot of things that are cool because they cannot balance them.
Dude, like wither stacking, bro, where you would stack int. It was so fucking interesting. I hate caps. A barb cleared to 150. There you go. Okay, I guess it's not removed. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like I feel like nodes like wither are so smart. The ones where they scale when you stack like a random stat. Because it makes like a unique gearing requirement. And it's interesting. But then they always cap it. And they always cap it so low that you get it for free. And it's like, what the fuck is the point? Like,
yeah, you want to be able to build around it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I suggested removing the move speed cap. I put it to 400 for Druid and make a werewolf skill scale with attack speed.
I think they need to remove the movement speed cap in general. Or at least make it way higher. Because the problem is blinks are way too OP and not every class has a blink. So you like essentially what it is like every class without a blink is like gated on how fast it can move, and then every class with a blink can move that fast and blink, so they're just better.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think move speed cap should probably be 300.
Yeah, or like dimension returns or something.
No, 300. 300 will be double what you can have max now.
Yeah, true.
So you move twice the speed that you currently see.
Are you moving speed cap right now? Do you know?
Yeah.
It's so slow, actually.
Yeah, I don't think double the speed is an issue.
Well, it wouldn't even be double that. Wait.
If a movie speed cap is 300,
right, it would be. Yeah. It would be double. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Because you have 100 base. Now it's 100, so it's 200. If instead of the cap is 300 extra,
then it will go 33%. Increase.
No, it will go to 400%. If 300 is the cap you can get on gear.
Oh, no. You're saying instead of a 100 cap on gear, you would bump that all the way to 300?
Yeah, that way it will max will be 400 instead of 200, and 400 is double.
Oh, okay.
And I think like Last for Carnage Paragon node for Druid, which is the wolf one, should scale your damage based on move speed. That would make interesting because then you invest in move speed for damage. And fulfill the theme that is a wolf being fast.
That would be cool. Yeah, the movement speed cap's too low.
But no, instead what they did is add 50% damage on the multiplier, and that's it. Like, look at this. Where is the last one? It used to be that was only giving you. It used to be only giving you resources, and now. And it deals 50% increased damage. It's the most bland, retarded thing ever.
It's so funny. Like, their solution to every problem is just
it's 50% damage.
More damage. Yeah, see what happens. What if we just give it more damage?
What if that's the thing. That's what I've been talking about. Like, all they do, and because they realize that if they do that, people don't complain. They think damage equals good. And I think they fucking have found the holy grail of fucking game development balance.
You know what they are, dude? They're like a brand new content creator that like just is scared of negative comments. Just does everything they can to not get a negative
They are,
comment.
they are like that Pegasus guy on YouTube that only makes videos that say like he's over, like about Mr. Beast videos. That's like he makes a new Mr. Beast video a day. It's over.
Just super. Wait, what do you mean? Like super safe or what
Check
are you getting at?
check Pegasus on YouTube, and all his videos are like the thumbnails are the same. It's too funny. Like his content is so bad, but because it works and he gets a lot of views, like he's so excited about making his fucking shitty ass videos.
Pegasus, dude. Oh, he hasn't been posting much anymore.
I mean,
Like, dude, he
at,
loves posting. Dude, his thumbnails are all like big titty bitches and shit.
no, this one. Look at my stream.
Wait, am I looking at the wrong one?
Yeah.
Show me. Oh, he's got multiple channels, I think. It's over. It's
finally
worse.
got.
It's done. He's done. You're right. Dude, he found what works, bro.
The end. The end. It's done. It's over. He's done. Finally over.
His main channel is more Pegasus, I guess.
See, he was getting less views before, and then he just realized he can just keep spamming. It's over. It got worse, and it's done. Finally finished, and then
farming, dude.
And he's farming. That's what Blizzard is doing with like giving 50% buff to everything.
Just safe. They know people won't respond negatively.
Yeah. Like, it's quiet quitting.
Yeah, except this guy's actually fucking farming is the difference.
Yeah.
Six-minute 70s, that's pretty good.
I was showing YouTube. It's only like a minute or two. See what my friends do to me? Like, see chat how he abuses me?
That's a cool build you got there. Can you have a link for it?
Funny. Why my Spiritborn Pit Push build use Gorilla instead of Double Jugger? Depends for which one. I have a lot of Spiritborn builds, but it depends if you get attack speed cap or not. Okay, there is attack speed thresholds, which should be in the documentation of the build. And it shows you how much attack speed you need to get to the next frame. And if you use Gorilla, it's because the attack speed from the extra stack of ferocity doesn't get you to change the frame of your skill. Getting 5% attack speed might not change how much damage you do. Because if your skill doesn't become one frame faster, then you actually have not increased your damage. And that's why. Oh, that's like the lowest possible I could get. Did they nerf the... They need to make it this guy give you more ancestral items. That's my take.
I feel like I like the current progression all the way up until like the end progression where you're looking for multi-GA uniques or like items. I feel like what I would like to see is some kind of crafting system where you can target farm certain GA stats. But I would like them to leave like the current progression the same, if not make it a little bit harder and slower. Torments 1 through 4. But we're blasters, so. But for me personally, I would like it if it was a little bit harder to go from Torment 1 to 4.
Is Shout to Druid possible? I don't think it is, unless they've changed it in the last patch, which I didn't see any changes to the build shift on in the last patch. Did they?
But to a 75, ballsy. This Druid builds always look cool.
Yeah.
The tornadoes. Do you have a chance to CC on hit?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, because Druid wasn't. They didn't design any good utility.
Really?
Yeah.
Necro's utility is like so overloaded. We have such insane utility options that like you can't get everything you want.
The best thing is Spiritborn is like damage multipliers on it for like 40% damage on some stuff. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Like one temper gives you
Necro's...
40% damage.
Oh, okay. Necro's is like, it's like Soul Rift duration, Corpse Tendril size, and then ability size are like the 3 utilities. So it's like, do you want a bigger Blood Surge? Do you want bigger Corpse Tendrils? Or do you want fucking longer Soul Rift? It's actually like tough.
So the cool thing about Spiritborn is like also like you can better generation is also good for the class.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. There's a lot. Spiritborn really like likes to run little uniques because their tempering is so strong. Because they're well designed for the builds. Again, everything is designed with purpose. Every build for Spiritborn is designed with purpose. They're not random. Like the build that I created was already pre-designed by Blizzard. I just added like the overpower thing on it.
Well, that's the thing I don't really like. Like, I hate the whole like pre-designed builds. PoE does not feel like that at all. Like PoE 2 or 1. I just like that feeling. Like, it's like the Soul Rift build that like K posted. It's like cool, but like Blizzard made the build. You know what I mean? Like, it's less interesting when they give you a tool that says what the build is, if that makes sense. Like, instead of like, I don't know how to articulate it exactly.
No one
they
cares.
Give you, like,
only content creators and people that actually like theorycraft care about that kind of stuff. People want to play a cool OP build, that's all. That plays well.
I think for D4 players that's true, but that's because the people who do care all quit.
That's same for PoE. People don't spend time there studying builds. They just want to copy things that are cool.
Yeah, but they study the builds they're copying.
Then it's figured out by them. Like they don't get anything out of it, whether it's made by GGG or not. We already know what build people will want to play for Druid on PoE 2, and it's made by GGG.
Okay, here's a counterpoint. One of the big forms of content on PoE between seasons is build blasting, where basically like big streamers and stuff will go and like find content creators that made bad builds and roast the fucking shit out of them. And these are like some of like the biggest streamers do this. There's like a whole community of guys who do that. So I think, I don't know. I get what you're saying. I think that there's truth in it, but I do think that there's a larger audience that does care about build customization that you underestimate because we play D4.
We'll see.
I'm not saying it's huge, but I do think it's larger than you're giving it credit for. Basically.
I think PoE 2 is going to be a lot more casual friendly than PoE is, so.
Way more, yeah. Dude, I think the combat alone, like this is something I was talking about with some people, but like the combat alone in PoE 2, I think immediately makes the game more casual friendly because the combat's just more fun. Like it's just more fun to play than PoE 1 by so much. Like just like pushing your buttons and like dodging attacks and like noticing a mob, progressing, like learning a boss's mechanics. Like it's just fun to play. And like the whole skill Germany work and everything.
That's the problem, Ruben, about that I also talked to the devs about it, is that unfortunately, the first time you see like the orange engine for the build, you think, oh, that's cool. Then you realize that it can be used in any build. Because it's accessible to like so many builds, so many core skills, that it's gonna be a struggle to make other interesting builds for Spiritborn. They don't use that.
Honestly, I feel like they just need to get rid of Spanish Lords.
They need to get... I think unique should be specific to one skill. Because the issue is that when unique enables a build, and then every skill can use that unique, like Banish Lord and Kepeleke, then you get the same engine for every fucking build.
Pretty true, yeah. Like, there's so many builds in this game that have one thing that says consume all your resource, and another thing, and then banish lords. Like, there's everything that says consume all your resource just becomes infinitely better with banish lords. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and I feel like it's not like good.
Yeah. I need more fortified generation in this build. And holy, okay, 85 I cannot speed farm, that's for sure.
Huh.
75 was easy peasy. What happened?
I mean, 75 to 85 is a lot of health.
I guess. 4 times.
You used the Spiritborn. Good. Sorry.
They make it hard to get gear for this build. Yeah. The problem is that the duping. No, it's not hard anymore.
Remember when they said that they're happy with the state of trade?
Jesus Christ. That's such a crazy thing considering that people are fucking buying Obdusite.
It's so like...
Can someone link a P2 video that shows decent gameplay? They haven't shown any endgame gameplay. I don't know if we can even say whether we have seen endgame gameplay or not. I don't think we can.
Nope.
Maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
You can't even say that there was something to talk about.
The P2 topics are dangerous because you know it's like
it's very dangerous, dude. But it's so hard not to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's so hype.
It's like watching like a level like 15 Diablo 4 build. It's gonna look slow. Wait till you see endgame, then you can decide whether the game is slow or not.
But I think people overestimate how much the slowness negatively affects the game play. I think when you see like the speed of PoE gameplay, your first thought is like, oh, this looks boring. But when you play it, it does not feel boring because it's hard. The challenge is what makes it interesting. Slow combat is totally fine if the game has the stuff to support it. Like, PoE has like 2 things. One, the mobs can actually kill you. They're not just like really tanky, but you can like dodge it and play around it. And then the other thing is that you have like big payoff for like setting up abilities.
At least for like the what's available to look at.
Necro yapping about slow gameplay being
yeah. Like yapper.
Oh my god, bro. Ban him. I'll ban him in my chat too. I did notice I see a lot more people in both of our chats these days than I used to.
We don't even stream. What do you mean? You don't see anything? What is the last time you streamed?
Season. Last time I streamed has been a long time. Let's see.
You're yapping about working and you don't.
Dude, it's not my fault you got me into this dog shit game. Where's Artifact, bro? That's what I want to stream.
Man, Artifact was a good time.
My last stream was October 23rd. It's been almost a month. That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a short break till QE2 and then they delayed. Yeah, that's why I stopped streaming. Like, I'm gonna take a vacation and stuff, and then.
Dude, I had. It's funny. Every season, I have to rebuild my stream because I never stream between.
Yeah.
I was thinking about streaming hardcore WoW. No point though.
You think a lot of things, but you do a few things.
Yeah, well, a few things are actually worth doing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, like, let's say that let's say that you just started streaming like random games that you enjoyed. You'd be like starting over almost, not quite, but like, it's just not worth it, dude. Like, okay, let me put it this way. You know what? Like, something I've had trouble with ever since we started actually doing views on YouTube is like it's hard for me to get into games anymore. Because in the past, my motivation for getting into games was always to become like insanely good at them so I could make content, make a living playing the games, right? But now that we've done that in Diablo, like I have like my motivation to like be good at games is so low outside of like ARPGs now. It's like I've become like an old man, bro. It's fucked up. And I feel like streaming like and making content about other games is kind of like that, where it's like, yeah, you like we could go like I don't know. There's probably actually decent WoW content to be made. Like I bet you if we went and started a channel right now and made WoW content about like the new classic WoW, you'd actually do a lot of views. But then like why do that when you can get ready for PoE? Like it's just like it's fucked up, bro. Okay.
I am like I don't know. I like doing content for PoE and Diablo. I like playing those games, so it doesn't bother me because I'm playing the game I want to play. But there's a lot of type of games that I want to play.
I enjoy a wide variety of games as well.
Yeah.
But to me, like classic WoW right now is like the thing I'm most interested in besides PoE.
The issue,
Just...
the reason why things that doesn't bother me is because you are a lot more variety gamer than I am. I like to focus on 1 or 2 games max. You don't have
I do too. But my problem is there isn't a game right now that's worth doing that on. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like I can't just play like Diablo for 3 months, like after a season. Like it's just so, like it's Diablo 4 is not a game that you can play like permanently. Diablo 4 is a game that you play at the start of every season. That's what's fucking
not like World of Warcraft was. I remember when I was playing World of Warcraft, I was playing only World of Warcraft, and you could play only World of Warcraft.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm hoping that's more what PoE is. At least at the start. It'll become a seasonal game, but I'm hoping the game is like good enough and interesting enough at the launch with enough steady paced content that like it becomes a permanent game and not just a game that we play for 2 months on launch and then everyone leaves and waits for the season.
There's a lot to learn from us, so
yeah, we have so much work to do.
Yeah.
We're starting with a lot less info than we started with in D4.
Would Hunter Zenith with Wild Heart paired with Dominate Glyph and the Ancestral Guidance add more damage? We have Ancestral Guidance in this build. But would it do more damage? Yes. But we don't running it because it will be really annoying to maintain. Again, if you want to play the maximum damage, you just play Spiritborn. If you want to play Druid, just play a build that you enjoy playing. I want to play a max move speed werewolf build with Mad Wolf. I want to be fast. And I want to play with Grizzly Rage. I bet Petrify would be way better. I just don't care. I wanna feel the fantasy of being a big bad wolf. That's what's up. Still 3.
You're such a furry, dude.
I just wanna be a big bad furry. Well, I mean, what's the issue?
Dude, the funniest name I've ever heard for a build was when Digit came up with
Tornado.
Furnado.
Oh my god, I was so pissed about it.
And the funniest thing about it is, like, if you took, like, okay, let's say that you take the entire population of furries that play Diablo, and then you, like, look at what percentage of them play each class, like, 80% of furries have to be on Druid, right?
100%.
At least 80.
100%.
Yeah.
They all play wolf builds, of course.
So I'm not saying every Druid player is a furry, but I am saying all furries are Druid players.
TFT Black Book, I miss your TFT stuff. Have you tried Bazaar yet? No, because if I get hooked to Bazaar, I will only play Bazaar.
I tried Bazaar. I did not like it at all.
No? Oh, tell me about it. Spill the tea.
It was just very, like... How do I word it? It's very mathy. Like, it just feels like a bunch of fucking math. And it feels like... It feels less, like, fun and less interesting, less about making, like, cool, interesting, fantasy kind of decisions, and more just, like, mathematically what is my best option. It feels too easy to solve with spreadsheets. And, like, I just, like, don't really... Like, I could solve the game, but it just sounds really... It just feels boring to play, you know what I mean?
I see.
The different builds don't feel like in Hearthstone, for instance, like the Necromancer, or the Death Knight feels like kind of Death Knight-y. It's got a lot of like anti-minion stuff, a lot of healing. It feels like thematic. Whereas I feel like the builds in Bazaar didn't feel thematic. They felt like math problems. Like very, not even like super complicated math problems, more just like annoying math.
Really? Damn.
That's how it felt to me, but...
What's the reception for Bazaar?
Very positive. People really like it.
Yeah, okay. But it's weird that you don't like it then. Is Sanctum losing his life on it?
No, but I think he really enjoyed it. I don't know if he's still playing, but I know he was really liking it. It's just like it's like one of the things. It's like, you know how you like TFT because it was like hard to solve and like you just had to like make decisions and it was tricky and weird.
Oh, it's so much art.
But imagine like TFT, where you have infinite time to think, and it's like way more mathematical. It's kind of like how I would put it.
The thing about TFT is just positioning could win you a fight. So you would put it's like it becomes a mind game at the highest level, where like your opponent watches your board and tries to predict how you're gonna move, and you try to predict how he thinks you're going to move and counter his positioning.
I'm not gonna lie, I think going from TFT to D4 was a downgrade for you in terms of potential. I know you didn't really I know you enjoy D4 more, but
I would enjoy TFT more if professional TFT was more of a thing. But it's not. I wanted to play one more esport before getting too old.
So you picked this game?
But now that I have a fiance, like I can't play esports anymore.
Yeah.
I cannot travel as much.
It's also like, dude, the problem is there's no new esports coming out. Like, if you want to get into an esport, you got to pick up like a Warcraft 3 or a StarCraft or a CSGO or a League or something. And you're competing against people who've been playing for 10 fucking years or 15 years. Like,
I mean, that's fine. If you're a kid, you're 14, you get into it. By the time you're 20, you're fine.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, to an extent. But like AoE 2, for example, like
Good morning,
all of
Perker.
the top players have been playing AoE 2 since like at least 15 years ago. Like, they've been pros forever. And it's impossible, like, because here's the problem you run into, right? Is like, in order to get enough experience to like beat the best player at a LAN event, you have to have enough LAN experience to like be comfortable in that environment, be able to execute in that environment, play like your game in that environment. But in order to have that, you have to have already been winning and playing LAN events as a full-time person. The problem is, like, the jump between like being like a casual player and being like full-time professional is so big that like people can't make it. Like, people who work a job and play on the side can never make that jump to being full-time pro.
No, I'm not using the bug bot. I'm playing normal builds. You have a question regarding Storm Slide. Storm Slide doesn't work because they nerfed the interaction. They bug fixed it. I don't know. So like there shouldn't be any Storm Slide build on the tier list. I removed them. I still have the build on my profile, but it's not for consumption. So apparently they are trying to fix the bazaar.
Making some big changes to it.
Yeah.
Have other people voiced that same criticism that I voiced? I haven't really been following. That's just how I felt.
I guess according to the shot, yes.
Damn. I should have made a video about it.
Now he feels important. He feels like he's more
just intelligent.
No, the build is not worth running. No build for any class is worth running unless you're playing. Only Spiritborn build are worth running. If you want to run a build for another class, you need to run a build that you enjoy playing, the play style. So I wouldn't look at power. I would look at hey. Every build clears the game, so it just how easy this to clear it.
But not every build is stuck in a 75.
Hey, my glyphs are not leveled.
How's your gear? You're gonna say shit, but like, do you have like ancestral gear at least?
Yeah, I have ancestral gear. They're not all plus 12. They're only 1 GA, but yeah.
Oh, are they not? Wait, what are your masterworks like?
Random.
Are they? Is it all 12/12?
No.
You know you can just buy Opusite for like $1, right?
Bro, the duping of the site is crazy.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It's so funny that they can dupe
like,
the site.
It's like layers of exploits.
Yeah, it's like it was like the only thing that you. Oh well, at least you know, RM tiers cannot upgrade their gear. They have to play the game. Nope. I think just play a landslide build with Earthbreaker. It's fine. Just if you just play a build that is fun. I don't have a link for the build, but I will make it today.
Dude. Bro, it's like, oh, I wish I could talk about this right now, but I can't. But it's such a good point. It's just like, oh, it's like everything wrong.
What are you talking about?
Bro, okay, let me put it this way. D2, right, was a video game that people liked.
Yeah.
So, one of the big problems in these games with Necromancer is like the reliance on corpse generation. So builds that, like, for example, like if you want to make a corpse explosion build, the problem is you have to make corpses to use corpse explosion.
Yeah.
But if you are a corpse explosion build, then how are you supposed to make corpses without killing stuff?
Yeah.
So you have to add in ways to make corpses without killing enemies, right?
Yeah.
They solved this in Diablo 2 because they made corpse explosion do percentage maximum life, so that corpse explosion was like essentially a utility skill that you would run in another build, and you would use the corpse explosion to, now it was overtuned in Diablo 2, but you would use another skill to kill the mobs, then you would corpse explosion to get like a bigger AoE. So you'd use like a really strong single target, and then the corpse explosion would do percent maximum life of the mob. So you would like kill an elite, and then you would corpse explosion the elite, and it would like blow up the screen. And just just little things like that, you know, where like the corpse explosion does maximum health. That's all, dude.
Yeah.
Unrelated to future releases, you know?
Unrelated. We don't know anything about that. You can buy Obdusite because they're duping plus 12 items, then they destroy them. They get to Obdusite cap, and then when they keep disenchanting items, the Obdusite drops on the ground. And you're in party with them.
D4 buy Obdusite. Let's see how much it costs. Let's see.
Bugland. It's like, it's crazy. Those bugs are really crazy. And there's been duping for like over 1 year and still have not fixed it.
Oh, Obdusite's expensive.
I bet. I mean, yeah, it looks more annoying.
Let's see.
I bet it costs more to buy a little bit of Obdusite than to buy like a perfect triple GA items. Because they're literally like disenchanting triple GA items for them.
You can buy 100 billion gold for $5.
Ah, bro, this game is so fucked.
Let's see. These sites like aren't saying how much Obdusite you get. Oh, this is like... This is Obdusite boosting. Oh, that's why. It's because these are boosting. They're not using the exploit. That's why it's more expensive. But this is $2 for 1,000. That's not worth it at all. But that's like, you get boosted for that. That's expensive. Wait, $2 for 1,000 Obdusite? That's $2 a run. If you get 4 people in your run, that's $8 a clear. Is that real?
This is an insane amount of money, yeah.
You can give them your login and they'll farm Obdusite on your account.
Yep. They really need to start banning people doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like in PoE they actually ban for that, but in Diablo 4, I don't think anyone has ever been banned.
No, I don't know a single person that's even been like had any negative.
Yeah. They just remove stuff from the account. Like it's not even a slap on the wrist. Remember when I could all those like duping for like materials in the previous seasons, and they were just I don't even know. I don't think they can check. They just like if you have more than 200 of the material, they just slash it. So they hit both like a normal player and you know cheaters alike.
It's so... Holy shit, bro. I'm not finding like the websites where you can just buy the Obdusite from this dupe. It's all boosting, so it's expensive. Actually, dude, we should be boosting. What the fuck?
Instead of doing YouTube.
Yeah, if you boost it hardcore, it's like $3 per nightmare dungeon.
Why getting a degree?
That's what I'm saying. You just make a hardcore character and just speed farm Nightmare dungeons.
Oh. How's the landscape now for your job in the US? Did it get better?
For software developers?
Yeah.
No, it's still pretty rough, actually. There's been, like, big layoffs, like, all across the tech industry.
My fiance's sister was also like a back-end software developer. And now she's getting a teaching job.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's actually, like, hard to get a job, especially if you want to get a remote job. It's not as bad. Like, if you live in a tech hub city and you're, like, trying to get an in-person job, it's not that bad. It's, like, pretty easy, actually. But if you're trying to work remote or if you're trying to work in a non-tech hub, it is very rough.
Just to
remote is practically impossible now.
Just taking like a big pay cut because there's no jobs anymore, and she's becoming like a high school teacher.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was wild. Like, when I graduated college, I was like, I applied to jobs for like 2 weeks, and I had like 2 competing offers. So I was able to get like a really good salary, fully remote. Both jobs were fully remote, good salary, full benefit, whatever the fuck. Straight out of college, I was making like a ridiculous amount of money. And then like a year later, like when D4 was dying, I started looking again. I looked for like 2 months and to get a single offer. It was like pretty rough. I didn't look that hard. I looked pretty hard though.
What happened though? Like, why did they need so many less people? Like, what happened?
So the TLDR is that more and more people have been getting programming degrees in the U.S. So a ton of people are like graduating. They're like something like half the industry has less than 5 years of work experience, something like that. Because there's so many people getting degrees.
Is that what Ubisoft also like? Was that the Ubisoft or what? Yeah.
Yeah. And then on top of that, there was a huge over-hiring that happened during COVID where all these tech companies were hiring because they were having such insane traffic. And then when the traffic declined, the companies like laid off all these people. So you had a lot of devs with a lot of experience all get laid off. And so like the market is still like decent compared to like all markets, but it's like very oversaturated with developers right now. It'll like write itself out naturally, but right now it's kind of rough because like COVID era ended. I don't think people realized how much of a fall off there was going to be after COVID.
I remember like a couple of years ago we were saying how like there's only like 70% of the job are filled for coding, and so that's why it was. But now, I guess everyone got into it.
Well, like Elon like fired half of Twitter, and the website still works. And I think other companies were like, huh.
Elon, what he told me is that they have been releasing more features back to back than when they had the double developers. So, like he thinks that all those companies are so over bloated.
There's a famous saying in software development: what one developer can do in 1 day, 5 developers can do in 5 days.
I understand that. I feel about the same thing about so when I have to do a job and other like I need to explain to 5 other people how to do it, I can't. And I can just do the shit myself.
The effect where like the productivity difference between like at my old job there was like this guy who just understood the code base inside out and backwards. His coding was better and he would do it so fast compared to me because like he was just so much more knowledgeable. So he was like more productive and the code he wrote was better, but we were getting paid like similar amounts. It's honestly really stupid. So part of the problem is like management doesn't know how to evaluate developers. They don't really get it. So it's like someone like him who's like an insane ludicrous asset is getting paid like the same amount as me because like management doesn't know better. It's kind of like fucked up, honestly.
My full site? No, not yet. This is what it is.
Corporate jobs suck, dude.
That's a lot of those things are hard to evaluate. I feel like the similar way about like game development. Like you don't really have a way to tell which developer is doing a good job, especially if it's a design.
It's very hard, especially in a large studio.
Telling between like a Spiritborn patch notes and a Druid one, you're not able to know if one developer is doing the job better than the other one, and if one is quite quitting.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. You have to be like very intimate with the like. You have to have like management that's like very intimate and very passionate and very aware.
Someone made a new Twitter. Yeah, I saw that because they're so pissed that
it's actually doing well, by the way.
I mean, so you guys are very how to put this politely. about the United States. I love the United States, but you guys are not be trusted with your opinions because you hate each other so much that one, like, the left says something completely wrong about the right, and the right says something completely wrong about the left. Like, if you go on Reddit, which is mostly a left-leaning website, like, Kamala Harris was gonna win easy the election. You know, yeah, and it's like it's all echo chambers in the US. That's how it feels for an European point of view. It is all of your opinions are echo chambered.
Well, the reason why is because the social media sites are always regulated by people with our hyper bias. Like when Elon bought Twitter, he was like, free speech, free speech, free speech, like fuck left-wing censorship. And everyone was like, yeah, fuck left-wing censorship. Let's go, free speech. And then he's like, actually, JK, this is now a right-wing.
Yeah.
And then he started censoring and elevating like right-wing voices.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what they always do. Like, that's why it feels that way, though.
People are okay. We just have to admit that people are naturally biased. I think that X is mostly a right-wing website, and Reddit is like a left-wing website.
Yeah, and Elon calling X centrist is completely delusional. It's not even delusional. I think he's actually just lying. Because there's no way he can implement half the programs they've implemented to push right-wing creators and not think that it's like hyper-biased. Like it's literally designed to push right-wing propaganda.
When again. The thing is that when you are part of another ideological group, left or right, you are center, according to yourself. You're not extremist.
True. That's true. Everyone thinks they're centrist, just like everyone thinks they're middle class.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I think people know they're poor now. I think people are so poor now they know they're not middle class.
Oh, maybe. I know in the past, like something like 80% of people say they're middle class or something like that. Like, wealthy people say they're middle class, broke people say they're middle class. Everyone thinks that they're, like, middle class.
And also, when you tell people to rate themselves for attractiveness, they will say they're, like, a 7 or plus. No one rates themselves as a 5.
That actually depends on male versus females. Females always rate themselves high, males always rate themselves low, on average.
Males don't rate themselves low. Males rate themselves, like, 6, 7.
No, they've done
my experience.
So, on average, women rate themselves higher than men rate the women, and men rate themselves lower than the women rate the men. X is centrist. Wait. If X is centrist, then you're far right. Like, it's literally that simple. Nothing else to it.
X
is literally like whitelisting, right? Like, this isn't even an opinion. Like, it's objectively true that X has been... It got leaked because it got data mined that X is actually, like, pushing right-wing voices and stuff. Like, they have an actual whitelist where they have, like, algorithm boosting stuff where they target certain creators for algorithm boosting. And the other thing to keep in mind is, like, X has been completely overrun by, like, Russian bots. It has been for a long time, but it's gotten so bad now that, like, I don't know what the percentage are anymore, but, like, the percentage of X that is actually, like, Russian bots is fucking insane. Like, it's hard to make any post without it being hyper-infiltrated.
Okay, that's only for political stuff, but also it's the same for...
stuff, yeah.
Oh, bro, for YouTube, I discovered, like, I went into a rabbit hole, and I discovered a bunch of, like, YouTubers that, like, live in China, and they are white, and they post propaganda for, like, Russia and China. And that's their entire YouTube, and they're obviously, like, saying all their videos, like, are, like, only positive about anything China, anything Russia, and every content is about how bad, like, US or, like, Europe are.
Yeah.
And then the weirdest thing is that I guess because they have some... obviously, they are planted there by the governments. The governments don't exactly know how things work. So instead of having those content creators have, like, Discord and stuff like that, they have, like, Chinese social media because that's what they know. Like, the government tells them you need to have, like, this Chinese social media, like Weibo, whatever. And the videos are completely in English for, like, an English audience. And obviously they would benefit more from, like, having Discord, but they're so clueless about, or, like, having a subreddit. And all the comments are obviously fake. And the videos have, like, half a million views, stuff like that.
It's crazy.
Bro,
you bought on, like, YouTube and stuff. It works, yeah.
There's so much propaganda on social media. It's such a war between, you know.
It's crazy. Well, even here, like, the fucking Necrosexy, this retard, is like, if you point out that X is like you can say Reddit is infiltrated by the left to the same degree that X is infiltrated by the right, but then like you see, like half the people in chat get pissed because I said Reddit is a left-wing echo chamber, and then the other half are pissed because I said X is a right-wing echo chamber. You know what I mean? That's how like how divisive it is.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. They are both echo chambers. Like there's no helping. You can't not have echo chambers,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
They're both. The people on the left think that I'm a right-wing hard, and then the people, yeah, it's just it's fucked up.
I actually, oh, so you made me think about 330 million people in US was only 150 that voted. Other people don't care. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's true. Most people. I think to an extent, you shouldn't care. That's a very hot take. I think that no one should vote, and I think that voting is dumb. Here's the thing.
That's
I think
a very hot take.
it is. Let me finish it. The thing is that because if you vote, you are literally wasting time, as your vote doesn't matter mathematically. Therefore, voting needs to be mandatory for everyone, so that everyone is forced to equally waste their time. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think democracy has some ginormous flaws.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything human is flaws. I don't vote because I'm not forced to, but I should be forced to vote.
I don't necessarily. Let me think. Like, so okay. Well, here's the problem: is I think a high percentage of people, like, okay. Have you ever tried, like, wait, have you never voted, or did you vote when you were younger?
I never voted, never.
Okay. Well, I'll say, if you want to be informed on an issue, it takes a ridiculous amount of time. Like, for instance, like, in Missouri, we were voting on an abortion bill, and if you read the bill as it's presented on the ballot, you think it means one thing, but if you go online and read about it, you think it means another thing, but then if you go to a different website, you think it means another thing. So if you actually want to have a good opinion on it, just to figure out what the bill means requires like an hour of work. Then if you want to figure out your position on abortion, that also takes a lot of work, and you need to listen to debates, and you have to like watch stuff, you need to like think about it, and then you got to develop a good position. And in the end, it ends up taking like 3 or 4 days to vote on this one thing. And if you want to vote on like everything and be informed, it takes an insane amount of time, like almost a full-time job to stay informed enough to like have good opinions when you go vote.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like, but that's like kind of your point. Like, but if you required mandatory voting, there's a lot of people who don't vote because they know they're not that informed. And if you require mandatory voting, you require a lot of people who like are intentionally not voting because they're not informed. But the problem is a lot of people who do vote are uninformed. It's just like fuck.
Okay, but I still think that because votes are so there's so many people voting over a large enough amount of people, it should equalize. I think that you can.
Wait, what do you mean?
I think in general you should still be able to, over a large amount of people enough, you should still be able to see through bullshit to an extent.
Absolutely not.
Oh, wait, I'm not explaining this correctly. So I'm saying that some people are gonna be tricked and vote incorrectly, and some people are not gonna get tricked and vote correctly. And I think with a large enough sample size, the people that vote correctly are gonna make a difference. Because the other ones are just gonna be 50-50.
Well, what percentage of people do you think actually like do enough research to be informed on a topic?
Well, the people that are uninformed are gonna vote 50-50. So it shouldn't be relevant.
I guess that's where we disagree. I think the people who are uninformed are extremely easily influenced to vote one way or the other on whatever topic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, 50-50. But there might be some.
Saying, so like, for example, like if you word in a bill that.
Bro, the
like,
guy's so mad.
Oh yeah, he's seething.
He's seething. He's saying, in X, you have community notes that both left and right contribute. Idiot. The problem is that most people on X are becoming more and more just one type of people. Yeah, everyone.
Yes, because, like, for example, like if you think like free speech is a thing on X and it's actually super centrist, then like why is it that someone can call someone words that I can't say on Twitch and it's perfectly allowed, but you can't call somebody cisgender or else X auto flags it? Like, do you think that's right-wing bias or left-wing bias? And like when something gets leaked where they're intentionally whitelisting right-leaning creators to get boosted in the algorithm, when the CEO himself is contributing to someone's campaign and like actually pushing for a campaign after he redesigns Twitter's algorithm because his post got less views than like on something than he thought it should have. So he redesigned Twitter's algorithm to literally boost his own post, and then he goes hyper right wing. Like what are we talking about, bro? Don't be retarded.
Elon is a personal friend of mine, but I don't think he's centrist. He's definitely right-wing leaning, and his policies and him being the owner of the website affects the people that are on that website.
He's traditionally more liberal, actually. It's just like I
guess you know what I mean. Also, like you said, there's a new Twitter coming up because people that are left don't wanna. A lot of them don't wanna be on a website owned by someone that is right wing. There is a Republican subreddit on Reddit, but it's not like the go-to place for Republicans because they don't wanna be on a left-leaning website for the most part. People like to stick with their own.
Yeah, I think that's certainly true. But it's I don't know. I'm very worried about the future in the U.S. It's like so divisive. Elon is not right wing.
Elon is not right wing. Okay, sorry. I just go by what he tells me. You know, I know the guy personally, but you tell me. Like policy-wise, he's definitely more left-wing. But like to say that he's like not pro-Trump, like that's what you're trying to imply. Like I don't even. Oh, I mean, I don't even know where to start, bro.
Then yeah, you're the reason the U.S. is failing. I'll put it that way.
I go back to what the point that the debate between Ben Shapiro and Dustin. It was an interesting point that Ben Shapiro made about how the importance of religion. I'm an atheist, obviously, because believing in a random book wrote like 3,000 years ago, and like just bananas. Like, so we're just taking random shit people have said 3,000 years ago and just believing them with no like scientific proof or anything. Obviously, it cannot be true. But beyond the point whether the big magical man. Beyond the point whether the big magical man in the sky exists or not, there's obviously an evolutionary advantage to religion. Otherwise, religious practice would have not flourished.
It's because it's the value system. So essentially, what happens in societies is that people who like follow and practice religion over time outperform people who don't because of the values that they inherit. Because religion, historically and like traditionally, and the value of religion is not in like believing in a dude in the sky, but it's in inheriting the value structure in the community that comes with following the religion.
And before religion, there was religion is more efficient at spreading, and that's the reason why it killed philosophy. But before religion, we had philosophy, and you know who had philosophy? The Roman Empire. Everyone in the Roman Empire was a philosopher. That's what men used philosophy as for their moral values.
Okay, so and what you're describing
specifically Stoicism, and Stoicism was all about civil duty, and was very useful.
Okay, first of all, religion far predates the Roman Empire.
The religion was different than
it was. Yeah, it was very different. I think that difference is something people miss. Like, old religion was like stuff like the buffalo migrate every fall because it's effectively stories that retell how things are. So like buffalo migrate because like a spirit like does some shit in the fall and then the buffalo like move. And it's just a way to like remember like, oh yeah, the buffalo move in the fall. And if they don't move in the fall, then it's like, holy fuck, something is wrong. And it's like
religion might have had some practices to like good fortune and things like that, but it wasn't a way of life, and it didn't tell you to behave like the gods. The gods in Greek mythology behaved horribly, and sometimes they behaved well. There was like no standard. You didn't have to follow like what Zeus did. You didn't have to have like 10 mistresses or whatever, or you didn't have to be like Athena and just turn a woman into a monster because well, I don't want to actually. That will get me banned on Twitch. But you don't know why Medusa was turned into a Medusa?
I don't remember actually.
I'll tell the story. So Medusa was a priestess for Athena, and she was assaulted in a very bad way by Poseidon, and then that happened inside the temple of Athena, and Athena was like, "You're a slut. I'm gonna turn you into a monster." And that's what happened.
Got her.
Got her. Obviously, like, it wasn't Medusa's fault, and obviously both of the gods did a horrible thing, and it's not like Greek people saw that and they thought, okay, this is how we have to live life.
Dude, fix your category on Twitch.
Is it, we have to add the politic tag?
Yeah, no, you're not on the D4 category.
But yeah, it's very different. Like, that story about Medusa is very different than like Jesus and breaking the bread and spreading the bread and, you know, and sharing. It's religion used to be way different back then. The moral backbone of the Roman Empire was philosophy.
That is true. Yeah.
And that's why their politicians were so successful before, like, that's why the Republic worked like that so well, where someone could have total power and then relinquish their power. They took pride into doing what was right for the Empire and the people, and serving the Republic. And then things degenerated.
They still, though, so I agree with you to a certain extent, but they still fully believe that you could piss the gods off, and you needed to do things that wouldn't piss off the gods.
Yeah. I mean,
so, like, for instance, like, they practiced, like, religious tolerance until things started to go wrong, and then they became hyper religiously intolerant and would resort to, like, older and older rituals.
But, like, I still think their mentality was incredibly advanced, considering it was thousands of years ago. When I read,
obviously, yeah.
When I read their treatise on Stoicism, and they talk about what they did and why they did it, or when I read Socrates, even, which predates all of that, their morality makes sense to me, and I'm surprised by how.
Well, which moral system are you talking about? Which moral system? Are you just talking about Stoicism?
Well, even before Stoicism, when, like, with just Socrates talks about, like, the reason why he's moral and why he thinks being a good person is correct. And just there's a lot of logic, and they are very modern in the way they approach things. For someone lived, in many ways, they're more modern than current days. And I think some of that needs to be brought back in school. Like, we need to be taught to think logically about things, and to not trust people, and to think for ourselves.
Well, I don't so education is, like, a big problem, because I think it's hard to find enough teachers who are like. Fuck me, dude. I'm not gonna say it. All right.
Go on. Blurt it out.
It's hard to, like, good teaching is hard, and you have to be extremely intelligent to be able to teach well. And there's more kids than there are hyper-intelligent people.
I think choosing what things to, like, what I think that I was taught when I was in middle school, elementary school, and high school was, like, most of them was useless. It would have been so much more beneficial to teach philosophy and critical thinking and debate than a bunch of the crap I was taught. So much of the stuff I was taught, even a physical activity, honestly. I think there will be a serious benefit in even teaching, like, about proteins and carbohydrates and, like, a good diet. I actually think that's actually probably. Yeah.
I think, like, we had, like, health classes, but it, like, wasn't done right. I feel
we don't. We, at least when I was in school in Italy, we never had anything related to, like, health like that.
Oh, we had a lot, actually, but I feel like it wasn't sufficient. Like, I didn't realize how important exercise was, because it's just yap. That was, like, how I felt they were. Fix your stream category after your dungeon.
Why? Isn't it not Diablo 4?
No, it's not.
Weird, because I did it earlier. I wonder why.
Do you have something that's, like, overriding?
Must have. There it is.
Okay. I have written nothing since we started talking, so I gotta bounce. I can write this.
No, don't say it like that. You can't have. I was hoping you did good work, and then we both kept this going, which was interesting.
I wrote like 3 sentences in 3 hours.
You wrote 3 sentences? Damn, bro. Well, thank you though for making me my day easy.
It was good chatting, bro. I'm
That's
excited,
good chatting.
Dude. Are you gonna watch the PoE thing tomorrow?
I'm gonna continue to talk about politics with chat.
Okay, you have fun arguing with yourself.
Aliens. The devs didn't like the direction Rome was going, and they made Jesus. The Roman Empire had a serious fall after they introduced Christian as their main religion. Peace out. But maybe it would have happened anyway, because they were, I mean, there's other reason why the empire fell. But definitely morally, the Roman Empire had a big downgrade when it became from a republic to an empire. Before the empire, people would get power in times of war. They would obtain supreme power, and then they would relinquish it. But after the republic was over and they had emperors, the morality of politicians became a lot more dirty, and people just fought for power more. And that's we enter in the stage of like mass assassinations of political figures and such. You get good teachers when they're paid 80k plus a year. Okay, that's a great point. Actually, there is I don't know how many people know a lot about Singapore. Singapore is a small country, and it used to be a poor country in Asia. What the guy did, the guy was now it's one of the best countries. Singapore is one of the best countries in the world, if not the best country in the world. And when the guy came to power, he had few things that he cared about. One was get the best teachers, get the best education possible, and get the best teachers no matter where they're from, and bring it to Singapore. Even if it was unpopular, because a lot of the best teachers were from the UK, and I think the UK and Singapore had political trouble. I don't know if Singapore was British colony. There was quite a bit. I know there was quite a bit of resentment, but the guy didn't care and brought the best teachers in, and then have very severe punishments for corruption, coupled with the very high-paying job for politicians. His theory is that politicians need to be paid so well, and the punishment for being corrupt needs to be so high that they have no incentive in being corrupt. Huge problem for a lot of countries. Like, it's crazy how in the US, you have people like Nancy Pelosi, which makes obviously doesn't know anything about the stock market and makes so much money. And she's like a better broker than like the best brokers. Obviously, she's trading with like inside information, and the laws just don't allow her to go to prison. Like, she should have been in prison for that, but no. If that's not corrupted, I don't know what it is. Oh yeah, I agree. Teachers need to be paid 80k a year. Honestly, small countries, I think maybe countries are too big. I don't know. It feels like small countries are doing better than big countries. Even Taiwan, it does so well being a small country. Norway, like you said. Singapore. I also think, I think Singapore has a $5,000 penalty for littering, and their cities are spotless. I kind of need to add a little bit more Grizzly Rage. I don't know how to do it. I need to overpower more. I don't have anything else that makes me overpower though. Nice. Nice. More or less the build is online. There are prisons as well. It's a lot easier to manage those things when the country is small. They have also a lot of... It's hard. It's hard when you go from a place like the US with high criminality rate to a place like Norway and Singapore with lower criminality rate. Because to have a prison system like Norway and Singapore, you would have to spend so much money in the US. It would bankrupt the country. There's just not enough funds for that. But in Norway, you can. Well, more or less, the build is online. I think for today, we're gonna stop here, guys. Guys, it was a fun stream. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow, or if not, on PTR. And then, of course, on PTR for Diablo 4. And on PoE2 release as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys the next time. I'll be making a build planner for this build, and I'll release the build on YouTube and on Mobiletix, so you guys can see it. It should be up tomorrow. We could do it easily if you cut military funding. You can't cut military funding, though, unfortunately, in the US. Your military is too important. So much of your economy depends on you being the biggest bad dude on the planet. I don't think you understand the ramification of you cutting the military... I will do one more dungeon. The US cannot cut your military spending. Your military makes so much money for you. The United States is the dollar is the standard currency in the world. And it's only because of your military power. The reason why Taiwan is not part of China is because you are protecting them. And if you cut your military spending, China gets Taiwan, and then you get no chips. I hope you realize that. If you didn't have, if you slow down your military spending, you would get fucked on trade and on tech. You have no choice but to spend for your military. And you cannot rely on like the Philippines and Australia. There is a pact to protect Taiwan, where like I know Australia and I think Philippines, Korea, and Japan are part of it, but they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't be able to compete with China. And then on the other side of the planet, Europe has nothing. Europe has like no military power left. So you can't, because you're got in a situation where like other countries have slashed their defense budget because of yours. And it gives you some advantages, but the disadvantage is that you can't cut it, because if you don't have it, no one else has. And no one else having it is worse for you than you paying for it. You spend more than 20... Yeah. I don't think you understand it. You know what's the biggest country, the biggest business in the US? It's Nvidia. The biggest American business is Nvidia. And if China takes Taiwan, that business goes boom. I don't think you understand that. Your economy is so tied up. Plus, you also sell weapons to everyone. Like, don't think that your military spending is like all thrown away. A lot of the stuff, a lot of your military spending, other countries pay for it. It's not as bad as you think. Your military spending is definitely the biggest reason why your economy is so good. You also, military stuff like that, also is like one of the few things that you have to produce in your own country, and that is not worth to outsource. Producing a lot of weapons is pretty good for your economy. There's a lot of stuff you have to produce in-house, which gives you jobs, etc. And you sell a lot of those weapons. Almost every country buys US weapons. I don't even know if your military spending is a net loss. It's like just from the sale of weapon, it might be a net positive, without counting all the benefits of that you reap by having the dollar being the world's currency. And literally, whenever the United States economy is in trouble, you print money. You print money. That's so crazy. Italy doesn't print money. Like, Italy cannot print money itself out of a recession. Like, you have infinite money. The US is so much debt. Yeah, true. But you print your own money. You don't really care that much. That debit is not necessarily also like bad for your economy. Because who do you owe? Like, who do you owe this debt to? It's still US people. Crypto is future. Maybe. Bitcoin is going on a crazy run, by the way. I'm thinking about investing in some crypto for the first time. Let's see. But I always feel like I missed the boom with crypto, and now that I see how much is Bitcoin up? Bitcoin is up crazy. Bitcoin is up 187% in 1 year. Like, buying it now would be so bad. You like the buy high, sell low strat? Yeah, I don't want to do that, bro. Oh, look at, let's invest in crypto. It went up 180% in the past year. I'm sure it's gonna keep going up. No, I mean, I don't think so. I honestly, I rather safer ways of investing. For the next few years, I'm just gonna invest in Nvidia and TSMC, and I think it's a fairly safe investment. Even if there's a recession, the chip market is still gonna be important. So, guys, that was really it, though. This was really the last rift. Just wait for it to crash. It always does. Yeah, if it crashes, I will buy. Next time, if it crashes, I will buy it. Bro, this look like, again, look at this upside. It's up 3.7 thousand. And now it's like most of its value is from the past year. It's wild. Guys, thank you for watching. I will see you guys again soon. Love you all.